Welcome boys and girls. Apparently mnanisikia. Yeah.
Welcome boys and girls.
Just to hope everything is okay. To studio modes. The things I do. Fuck. Jesus Christ. This shouldn't be this hard to wear, bruv. Suti hata initoshei bana. Suti initoshei bana. Sasa ona. Mzazi ananipigia ajui naenda kuingia hapa live date. Acha tusikie anataka nini. Hello.
Mwambi,
Yeah.
wakatole.
Ah, sawa. Give me like I'll be down in 2 hours. There's something I'm doing. Jamaa amekata simu hata hataki kusikia nafanya nini. This looks presentable, doesn't it? Lakini it's definitely set. It's definitely set. Bro, hii maisha ya content creator haidai. On God haidai. Huh? Does that look official enough? Tusiingie hapa na chat clips. Acha nimtext nimwambie. It is time. Bro, hii suti, mnaonaje hii suti? Hii suti, mnaionaje? Buda hata sina list ya vitu nafaa kuuliza. Fuck. Tuna freestyle hii shit ama? Hello, what's up?
Hey.
You can hear me?
Yep.
Let me just get this ready. Just give me like 2 minutes.
You're streaming on YouTube as well?
Yes, I am. Is that an issue?
No.
Oh.
Let me turn on my camera.
Aye.
Oh, damn.
What's wrong?
I knew it. Okay, wait. I think I have to log in with my phone. Let me see. Because I think my laptop camera is bugging.
Hi, you can use your phone. No issues. Eesh. Tell me, have you ever been on stream before?
No, but I do live.
You do lives. How often do you do lives? How comes I've never seen you live?
Yeah, I did live a long time ago. Like I've been on TikTok for almost 5 years. But
5 years.
yeah, it was back when it was Musically. Obviously back
Oh,
then,
oh. Yeah,
yeah,
then
yeah.
then it
Obviously
wasn't
just
TikTok.
nah, it wasn't even that serious. Like people just knew it as the lip syncing app. Then when it became TikTok is when I had joined university, so I'd post a lot about politics, and then that's when my platform kind of took off. And then after the pandemic is when I decided to take a break because I started getting tired.
So you said politics. Tell me something about politics that's uncommon to hear. Okay?
Um, Do you have anything in like particular that you have
If
questions on?
if I mention anything here, I'll be banned. You know, I've been banned. I've already been banned on YouTube, so you can already tell where
Oh,
this. Yeah, so you tell me something
okay.
controversial.
I don't have anything controversial. It's just my take on politics is more subversive. Like, so, I'm a Marxist, not like a card carrying Marxist. Like, I'm not part of
Hmm.
a CADA, unfortunately. I tried joining the CPK, but stuff happened and I was unable to join.
Uh-huh.
But I'm a Marxist in the technical sense. Like, I've read a couple of works and I understand like the Marxist rhetoric. So the whole reason for me becoming a Marxist was because I was trying to understand what the hell was going on in Kenya in the
Okay.
political scene because there's a lot of whack shit that's been going on like for a really long time.
Hmm.
And I think my most popular take was during the election season when people were asking me who I'd vote for, and I was like, the obvious answer is not the current president because we know his political history, like with the Western Hotel, with the like the kids at Langata Primary, like the kids being tear gas, like that's pretty fucked up. I remember even when he was Minister of Land and something, we had like a whole maze scandal. So I knew, yeah, I'm definitely not voting him in. But then I knew that because the way that the system is set up,
Yeah.
there's no way the opposing party, the orange guy. I don't say his name because yeah, I'm also afraid
You're
I might
afraid
get
of what?
flagged down.
Come on, come on. You can't get flagged
Okay,
down.
yeah.
This is Kenya. Come on.
Yeah,
Okay.
I obviously
Yeah.
like the right guy in my opinion was Raila because when you look at his cabinet or the people he had behind him, it was Orengo, it was Sifuna guys. I think Alfred Mutua was thinking, yeah, these are reprimand. These are smart guys
Yeah.
who have like a good track record. When they talk with sense. Like what Sifuna is doing now on TV with like Ruto's MPs. Like yeah, obviously. But the problem is, I knew because of the way that the system is built up, there's no way somebody with like Raila would get into office. And we knew,
Yeah.
like, even if we all show up at the polls, he
Yeah.
would still be shut down.
He still would have lost. So okay, just by the fact that you've mentioned Ruto, like, can't you give him like his roses? This guy has never lost any any position he's vied for. Like whatever position he vied for, he's won it the first time, always. Come on, that's
I
a
don't,
winner. Come on.
I don't know. I don't think we give people such powerful positions in office because they're winners.
Okay,
We give
fine.
them positions in office because they have competency. I've never seen him
Okay,
display any kind of competency.
okay. Listen, fine. We say it's competency. That's what the society tells us it is. But if you think about it at a deeper level, don't you think like may feel like there's no president who's real? All of them are
Yeah,
puppets to somebody else. So
yeah,
like so
yeah,
there's no choosing any of them. Choosing any of them
yeah.
is choosing somebody's puppets. So even if we put the orange guy in, it doesn't mean it would have been better.
So it's a bit tricky when you think about it because I remember the 2019. I think that was when was it 2019 or 2020, the election period.
It was 2 years ago, Is it
Yeah,
2020?
2022. Yeah,
Yeah.
2022. I that was when I had become a registered voter, and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to make an informed decision.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking this is when I'll make an informed decision.
Communism.
I now have the power to vote. And I was thinking, I don't want to vote blindly because of like tribe or because I think it's not
Yeah.
smart to do that because you don't want somebody in office for 5 years just because you feel
He's
this kind of kinship.
we speak the same.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And then I was waiting for the manifestos to drop. I think Raila's came out first. I
Mm-hmm.
read it and I was like, yeah, this is solid. And then everybody else's manifesto came out and it was like a copycat. So I was wondering, I don't know who to. This is weird. But I was thinking,
Mm-hmm.
even though Raila wouldn't do huge fundamental changes in the way that the systems work,
And
he would make,
nobody can. Let's be honest.
yeah,
Nobody
like
can. So
you can't really
yeah,
liberate the oppressed classes through the structures in play. Like the structures in play are doing exactly what they're
they're
supposed to
supposed to
do
be
by
doing.
oppressing
Yeah.
people. Yeah, so if we don't want oppression, we get rid of the structures in place.
Okay, I feel like oppression is a far off term. Okay, listen, let me cook. Let me cook. You see, communism on paper
Yeah.
sounds good.
Mm,
Communism on paper sounds. In fact, it sounds so. It's so appetizing. And
yeah,
then you
it
look
sounds
at
perfect.
capitalism on paper. Capitalism on paper is trash.
Yeah, exactly.
But today, if you ask whether you'd want communism or capitalism, I believe you would like a capitalist state. Am I wrong or right?
It's,
You'd
gosh,
prefer the
there's just,
capitalist state.
no, I would
Like,
not.
fine, okay, fine. You wouldn't compared to communism, you'd prefer it. To a certain point. Like, come on, we
I
can
think,
sell pens and become billionaires. Come on, that's good. Don't you
uh,
think so?
no.
Don't you think
I
so? Come
think
on.
what happens in status quo is um effective, like essentially we've been gaslit into thinking the world is good because everybody like a lot of people are struggling and they know that they're struggling, but we've been fed all these lies about how you can be anything you want to be if you work hard. But people go, they're diligently working and they're diligently studying, and then they realize there's some people who don't work as hard as others and they do really well, and then there's some people who do well and then something happens and they lose all their money. So it's like it's been ingrained in our system since childbirth to view capitalism as the favorable system and to hate communism, that people don't really do the work. They don't even know how to start picking apart the lines, which is the job of Marxists. My job as a Marxist is to tell you capitalism is bad, communism is good, because innately you know one is bad, another one is good. My job is just to help you wake up from the lies. Like I
Okay,
pull out
please
the string
wake
of
me up,
lies.
cause me, I'm a capitalist motherfucker, and I'm going to die on capitalism till I die. Cause with capitalism, at least I can get the chance to become a billionaire. In communism, there's no billionaires, fam. I can't wake up
So
and go to Japan and have a cup of tea and come back. I'd honestly want to do
good
that.
question.
You get?
So let me ask you one question. Why do you want to be a billionaire?
Cause it's okay. Personally, I don't think
Yeah.
getting to a billion will actually change me or something of that kind of
No,
sort.
it's okay.
It's just
Like
like
just
a measure of. It's like if we're playing football, it's whoever scores most goals. That's the guy who dominates. That's the guy who's on top. That's the guy who's.
okay.
We agree, like we'll agree this guy is on top.
So
Like, and
it's
I'll
more
get my
about
flowers, and I'll get other let me say, I'll get other privileges that I never had before. Like, if I'm a billionaire, I can fucking influence the stock price. Isn't
so
that
it's
an easy
about like
life? Isn't that an easy life?
ah oh, so would you say you want to be a billionaire because you want to beat the system, or you want to have access to like a good house, like you want to have an easy life where if you want to travel to a country you can, if you want to eat the
Yes, I
best food you
want I
can.
want opportunity.
Yeah. Okay,
That's what I
good.
want.
So, what if I told you capitalism makes it unnecessarily insanely hard to get
But
access
that's
to
what I
the
want.
basic kinds of
Now you see, what I want is in basic.
opportunities.
What I want is in basic. I believe my life is very basic. That's why nobody is watching this stream. Eventually, people will start watching this stream. But I have to fill in some Jenga pieces so that it keeps on building, so that I get those opportunities. You get me? Like, think
Yeah, yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Think about it, eh? Let's not even talk about a Bugatti because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's almost insanely impossible. Like that's like somebody claiming I know who God is. There's so few people who know who really God is. So
Yeah.
let me just take a Range Rover. A Range Rover is like 30 million. Tell me
Yeah.
what kind of work I need to be doing to make 30 million to spend on a car. See, it makes no sense. There's no way I'm going to have a you need to get a business that's scalable to get to that point. Like
Yeah.
those cars, Kina Manzori, Kina Brabus, it's like I need the car to be so expensive to show that I have money.
Mm.
You get? It's practically
Ah.
useless. Like there's
Yeah, yeah.
nothing it's adding onto it. Yes, I know, but isn't it better to be in the Brabus than this? I'm just asking. You know?
True. I think um so capitalism in essence is very unfair. Like there's an unequal there's an unequal distribution of opportunity, distribution of resources, and there's like a power structure. So there's somebody at the top, somebody at the bottom. On the base level, it's like you have somebody who has more money than you, and then there's somebody, yeah, yeah. And then on the country level, it's like some countries have access to more resources and some countries don't. So in Kenya, um, the way we have it's extremely expensive to get like a Bugatti for example, yeah. I think in Europe
Still
it's still
expensive.
like it's viewed, yeah,
Still
it's still viewed
expensive.
like a luxury item, but I think the way that you can access it is easier. It's just like if you go abroad, you can loan expensive items and pay for them slowly.
Yeah, but me loaning isn't. That doesn't. Anyone can loan. You get, but no, very few people can buy. I want to be. I want
Yeah.
to buy. That's what I want. I want to buy. I want to buy so many things. This may sound like I'm so materialistic, and
No.
I, I get it. I get it a lot. But think about it. What else is there, especially for a guy? What else is there to do in this world apart from acquire things and say this is
Yeah,
mine and this is my territory?
that's true.
There's
Yeah, yeah,
nothing
yeah.
else to do, fam. There's what else can I do? You know?
Exactly, that's a problem. And you see, until you achieve that, you'd be unhappy.
No, I wouldn't say I'm unhappy. Why would I be unhappy? In fact, let me tell you a controversial take I have. Personally, I don't think happiness exists, especially for men. Because
Ah.
what's me being happy?
Are you asking me or?
Like, what would you term as being happy? Having fun or doing something that's leisurely and whatever.
Yeah,
For
like
me,
emotional fulfillment, I would think.
emotional fulfillment isn't equal. Okay, to me, it isn't equal to happiness. But I
Mm.
feel like the only times I know I'm happy is in the past. There's no time I've ever been happy and then been like, I'm happy. If I say I'm happy, I've stopped
Mm.
being happy. You get? It's
Yeah,
something, it's like, it
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
be actively pursuing happiness because I can't have it now.
So you feel
So,
like happiness is a fleeting commodity,
exactly.
like
Therefore, you shouldn't attach
ah.
your views to just happiness. It'll
Don't you
steal
think
your
that's
mind.
a
It
yeah,
sounds
that's
sounds good on
a
paper.
product.
Sounds
No,
good
no,
on
no. It's a
paper.
product of capitalism.
Nah. But isn't that the way life is supposed to be? I feel like everything has a give and go. You know?
Not really. There's some
What do you
countries
mean
that
not
have
really?
high, yeah, like Finland, for example, is one of the happiest countries, and they have
Happy. It's
less
happy. It's not
happy. Like,
happy.
let's look at
Like, come on.
the education system. the education system is really comprehensive.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do random SATs. There's no what are they called? Um, like instead of doing what are these things called? Multiple choice. Like
Yeah.
somebody sits down with you and explains to you. It's a immersive experience where you don't feel like the teacher is dominant and you can't question the teacher. It's an equal exchange of give and take. And there aren't these crazy assignments that you have to do. You don't feel like exams are this huge hurdle that you have to jump. If you fail once, you can do the class again. It's not that big of a deal. Like I think the reason why people feel less happiness is because there's just so many problems in the world. Like, and I know some people say suffering has some meaning, but in today's day and age, there's just so much suffering everywhere. It's lost its meaning. You're just in
No,
pain
I feel like suffering
constantly.
has been worse back then. Hey, yo, back then it was way worse than now. Come on, you can't compare back then and now.
Um, I think people
You know who Genghis Khan
were able
is?
to mitigate. I think people were able to mitigate
Imagine
their suffering better because they had less of it to mitigate.
less.
Like
Oh my
just
god,
because
there's
we
no way
live
that was
in,
less. There's no way that
just
was
because we live
less.
in, what's the word? Okay. How do you, what do you mean by there was more suffering?
Personally, I feel like there wasn't an ease of there wasn't accessibility to stuff. You know, like now if I want food, I just get an app and I order it and I just give out some money and there's food. You get?
Back then, you would just go to your farm and get it for free.
That's farms. Probably there was farms
Yeah.
because the population was too large. Yes, 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 yes. But you get, it's all from whoever's bigger than the other one wins. It's not a brain game. You get, it's not papers like now. When I have a PhD, I'll get the job. Then it's if I can fuck you up, I win. You get?
I don't. Eh, I think that's one way. That's one perspective of how history unfolded. Because communities existed and they were more collectivist than communities are today. It wasn't about dominating people, even though there were fights. Like obviously, if communities are fighting over
I
access to
mean, I
like,
mean, what did Genghis Khan do? He just woke up one day. He decided, let's move from here. We go there. You guys, what do you have? We fuck up all your men. It was literally androcide. In fact, war is the best definition of androcide because it's a systematic killing of men, ain't it?
mm,
I mean, you'll pick men to go and fight because they're the
Khan,
ones who can
Genghis
fight.
Khan was raping and pillaging, not just
Exactly.
killing men.
Yeah, but men were killed. It was war. Men were killed on both sides, regardless of whichever side you're on. The men were dying.
So
You get what I'm
the
saying?
casualties were cross genders, or like if
Fine,
Genghis Khan was going to. Are you
fine.
talking in terms of like.
In terms
Wait,
of
what are we
what?
talking about?
I'm talking about you saying I give you a perspective of why it was difficult then compared to now. Now we don't see
For who?
wars, whichever side. I mean, if the men are hurt, the women also get hurt. If the women are hurt, also the men. On either side, it doesn't matter whether it's a male female side thing. It's collectively as people. If these guys decide to go and to fight, like now, you think by the fact that there are weapons everywhere, we need less manpower to fight. Therefore, less men will die. Even the wars, you get me?
I think they're very different goalposts. It would be hard to say we suffer less because one group suffers less. I mean, if you're
Because
talking about we, then wouldn't we be talking about like people at large?
exactly, there are no wars now. Wars happen rarely. There's only two wars, and it's not even major wars. It's just because people are exchanging money, and somebody needs to be bombed. You get? Then when it was
Mm,
war, it was war. It was actual war. You get?
it's
Like
similar.
I'd
It's
rather
just
die.
fighting over a resource.
I'd rather die with a bullet than die with an axe. You get what I'm saying?
You'd still be dying.
Yes, but I'd be dying with a bullet to the head, which is instant, almost instant. You honestly feel like there's no difference in the amount of suffering would be. You feel like back then it was easier than now. That's what you feel like.
We'd need to define what kind of suffering we're talking about. Because, yeah, there's been
I mean,
advancements to technology, but there's still
suffering
a
is
large
suffering.
group of people
Okay,
that suffered.
by the fact that we live longer than those guys, don't you think they suffered more?
Mm,
And let's do generalities, because if you go into the specifics, it loses essence to the rule.
I guess, yeah, advancement technology reduced suffering,
Amen.
but does that mean people were happier then? I don't know.
I'm not saying they were happier then. I'm saying we're happier now.
I mean,
Yeah,
oh,
we are happier now. It's easier to live this day and age than back then. Back then was, oh my god, oh my god. Anyway, enough of killing people and wars. What do you think about Kanye and his remarks?
I don't know. I haven't been following Kanye West.
You haven't heard anything about Kanye?
I
In
heard that he
like,
was making anti-Semitic remarks, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
been.
you haven't heard any of the remarks. So okay,
Nah,
um, first of all, do you think billionaires should exist?
no. I
So
think billionaires exist because there's systems that allow certain people to hoard their wealth. If we had less paywalls, barring access to like food, shelter, clothing, water, we wouldn't have people being incentivized to hoard as much money as possible. So we wouldn't have billionaires.
but is it that they are hoarding as? Because okay, I feel like money is an illusion. Do you agree with me?
Mm, you need to elaborate, maybe.
I mean an illusion in that in the equation of trade, it's the only thing that holds no value. The only things that are valuable in the trade is the labor, the land, and the
Oh,
resources.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah, yeah, I
get?
agree.
It's just a mode
Yeah.
of changing it. So I don't feel like those guys are hoarding money. They're hoarding value. It is value if you think about it
Yeah,
from that sense.
yeah.
So I can't provide value for something that's valueless. You get me? I can't make something that's valueless give me so much money because it's a free market.
Are you saying the money is valueless?
It's an illusion. I mean, it's how do I put this? It's not what holds value. It's a mode of exchanging the value from one person to another. It doesn't hold
Yeah,
value.
money itself is not value, but the more money you like, the value, the thing that makes money valuable is the things you can do with it. So you,
Exactly. So
yeah,
it's like so like let's say $1 is like X amount of time in somebody's life. You get?
yeah.
There's no point where we actually want the money.
No, oh, okay.
You
When I
get
say
me?
hoarding, I don't mean they're keeping it in a store and not doing anything with it. It's
Yeah, I
like
get you. But
hoarding, like,
like okay, when I mean I don't know how to put this. Um, Bill Gates has to actually sell something that's valuable to make that money. You get me?
uh, yeah,
He has to do something of value, and he's not the one who decides its value. It's people in the society that decide the value.
yeah.
So why wouldn't a billionaire exist if my game is to understand how I can accumulate this as much as possible and be at the top? Because I think we agree on there always has to be a hierarchy. If there's no hierarchy,
Mm, no, I don't agree with that.
okay, tell me why somebody doesn't come and steal. Okay, let me put it in this example. Let's say I have cocaine. So I'm selling cocaine.
Hmm. Yeah.
Somebody comes and steals the cocaine from me. As a cocaine dealer, what am I going to do?
Get the cocaine back?
How will I get the cocaine back?
I don't know.
Okay, let's put it in simple terms. I get the guy, I chop off his arm so that this guy doesn't come back and ask for my cocaine. Why? Because I can't take him to the police. Because the lawful thing would be to go to the police because they're the ones who are going to enact the force. But the police are not on my side because it's illegal. See you?
Mm-hmm.
So I chop off his arm. I use force. Whoever has the most force wins. You see, that's how that transaction is going to go. I won't come to you and tell you, hey man, you took my cocaine, man. I need my. You get. There has to be somebody who enacts force in it. Therefore, a hierarchy exists.
Hierarchy isn't a naturally occurring process. I think we create hierarchies because of capitalism, the way that capitalism influences our thinking. I think you can lead a group, you can be the head of an organization without being on the top and holding disproportionate amounts of wealth and power. I think structures can still function well if the person with the wealth and the power is supporting the group instead of like subjecting them to unfair rules, blah 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 blah, like making it hard for them to.
But okay? Do you understand why they make it hard?
It's like a club that nobody else can enter.
Exactly. Would you want anybody entering your house? Nah. These people you get
different.
Okay, I think you can use the analogy.
It's like
you just won't let
like
anyone.
It's like a cash cow. Like you wouldn't somebody to take away your cash cow.
Exactly.
So you make it hard for other people to.
Exactly.
But the problem is when we are working within a system. Like if I need the cash cow myself and you're hoarding it, like that's unfair. Because I don't know, this analogy.
Unfair. It can't be unfair. I just need to find a way to get my own cash cow.
Yeah, that's the problem. Not many people can access a cash cow because of capitalism. That's what I'm saying. It's like
it's not.
I don't know. This analogy.
I feel like there are too many lazy, ambitious people, and that's one of the like worst things you could ever be. A lazy, ambitious person.
What's a lazy, ambitious person?
Like that's the worst person you could ever be. A person who's lazy and very ambitious thinks they can actually get there, but they won't. You actually have to put in the work. There are some instances where people don't put in work, but if they do, like its true value has to show itself. It's like with the stock markets, and you know about insider trading?
No.
Let's assume you own a company. Let's say you own Facebook. So you own 50% of all the shares. Then you are deciding like in 3 or 6 months you'll sell all your stock. So that will definitely make everybody who's bought into the stock feel like this stock is useless, therefore we exit also. See you?
Yeah.
So since you're inside the company and then you give me information about that, I can go and put a bet on the stock exchange that this company will lose value, hence I'll make a lot of money. You get? It's like I had insider information. But now the question is, isn't there there'll always be a time where somebody will have information ahead of you, whether you like it or not. And this is what I'm telling you about the hierarchy. This is how the
because
hierarchy
of capitalism
exists. But like the information can't exist everywhere at once. It has to start somewhere, then spread out.
Equally, not in this disproportionately.
Okay.
Because the problem why it's unfair is people's livelihoods depend on how much access to information they have. If you're telling people you can't have access to high quality food and high quality clothing and high quality medical facilities and high quality all of that because you don't have access to information. That's unfair because you have less access to information. It's okay for you to live in squalor, for you
I'm
to
not
live.
saying it's okay for you to leave. That's just a
That's what
sad
I'm
thing. That's
saying.
just a sad fact
If
about
it's
how we
if
live.
it's
I'm not
always
saying
like
it's
people
okay.
have a right to keep their private information private
Mhm.
and other people's livelihoods depend on it, then that what's the word? It's an unfair system that shouldn't exist. If it was just that, there's a reason why nobody cares about golf clubs. Like, okay, you do your golf clubs. Nobody cares about country clubs. But like the reason why people what's the word? The reason why people have a problem with CEOs and billionaires is because they own companies. Um yeah, they own companies
Mhm.
and then they put in these rules that make it hard. They pay their workers really little and they make them work really hard for long hours. And these guys are breaking their backs. They barely have enough money to show for it. They don't have proper health care. And then this structure is replicated in various other areas of the country, like even in government, public facilities are shit because of this refusal to bring the money back to the public facility. It's like the country gives the money to the government and it goes straight to people's pockets because it's like, if this is my domain, then I can decide what to do with it. Like that's the unfair
Okay.
structure.
Do you think if we increased everybody's salary, let's say we increased everybody's salary with 100K, what do you think the direct effect of that would be in society?
No, because
Or tell me
um,
how we'd increase their pay, or you get, you said the money needs to come back down.
that's one way. That's one of the many different unfair systems in society. Like I said, even if you were to increase everybody's salaries up,
Mm-hmm.
you still have to pay a ton of money. For example, like the general populace in Kenya goes to public facilities for health, like public healthcare, public transport. It's like um, you're supposed to be seeing the value of your money come back. So even if you get like a higher salary, wait, let me think about this. For everybody, like higher salary for everybody.
Everyone, every single person, even the CEO, everyone will. Okay, apart from the CEOs are the ones who are losing the money because the money has to come from
Like the
somewhere.
CEOs remain the same and
Yeah,
everybody else has.
exactly.
Yeah, then it'd be
So,
an equal playing field.
okay, now
Then
my
we'd
question
be
is,
fine.
let's extrapolate from this information. So, at the moment, there's so many people who are down for cash. So, let's give
Yeah.
them an extra 100,000. Do you feel like the system would stop? Do you feel like the system would stop? Or the same people who were trying to get out from that position would end up buying more things that they don't require and end up in the same tendencies they were, but now at a higher price? There'd be more drug addicts. Personally, that's how I feel. More people
Yeah,
would
that's
die.
what I'm saying.
Actually, more
There are
people would die.
structural problems, so
But now
you'd
this
have
is
to
the
take
thing.
the
So now
structure
this is the
down.
thing. Now, what is taking down the structure? If we avoid capitalism, what are we adopting?
Socialism.
Explain to me what socialism is.
So, what we have in capitalism is um, like mostly conglomerates and big companies like big pharma or like big industries that want to make like keep their hold on the general populace will lobby certain politicians into office to protect their interests. And that's what happens when you have a very small government that doesn't regulate like big companies well enough. So
Mm-hmm.
in socialism, like the market in general. So under socialism, what happens is the government decides what companies can do with their company in general, and like they democratize the enterprise. So people working within the company decide how long they work. Um, yeah, and the government actually brings back the money to the people. So you
That's
have
it.
proper healthcare.
Okay,
Yeah, like countries like Germany do
but you
more
see,
socialism.
Germany, you see, like you have to understand where Germany came from. Like Kenya, fam, who would you explain this to in Kenya and they'd actually care? Or they'd be Baba this, dynasty that. You get?
Uh,
I mean,
the CPK does a good
The
job.
ordinary Kenyan isn't going to like they most probably they don't even know what socialism is. You get? Like
Yeah,
they don't care about
that's
it. They don't care
yeah.
about it.
The whole point isn't that's the problem. Like I can't just tell you this is what socialism is.
So
My
now,
job is to just help you welcome to wake up to the problems of capitalism, and then you'll realize what's good. Because it's not just economy wise, it's like the way that we build our social institutions, so the way that we relate with each other, the way that we build our families, the way that we go to work, it's like twofold. That's why the first what's the word? Like the first thing you do as a
mhm.
Marxist is re-educate. All we do is re-educate, like telling people this isn't how it's supposed to be. Yeah. So I can't. It would be difficult to explain all of that in just a few hours.
Yeah. I get you. I get you. But me, I still feel like yo, capitalism is quite good. It's okay. It's not that bad. It can't be that bad. Okay, I'm speaking as somebody who's in a well-off family. Maybe that's why. But I mean, you have the chance to become a billionaire. Me, that sounds good to me. Anyway, let me switch topics. Do you prefer? Let's speak about equality. Yeah, you remember the way there was a femicide campaign? Um, is it last month or last month? But one.
It
Anyway,
was last month, I think.
yeah. Anyway, do you think feminism is a net positive to the society or a net negative?
A Marxist concept. It's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Could I ask which wave of feminism you say is good? Because I personally feel like the first wave of feminism was that's where it was at. The second one made it worse, and the third one is horrific for me.
All
Personal
feminism is
opinion.
the same feminism because we're all just trying to bring down patriarchy. I don't think the waves of feminism are significant
I
because
feel like
it's
they're
like
very significant. I feel like they're very
they
significant.
change according to the culture. I think, I don't know. If it becomes more insidious, then the feminism will be more insidious. I think in general, the reason why people have such a, what's the word, like an aversion to feminism is the reason why people have an aversion to capitalism. It's refusing to accept maybe the other right has something to say, and then what's the word, like having the humility to like read about it. Because I hear a lot of men who hate feminism say like feminism works against men. It's like, have you read any feminists? Because feminists
And
themselves
that's
talk
why
about
I
how,
wanted the distinctions, the first wave, second wave, and third wave. You see, the guys who say it's horrible for men, it's the third wave.
what's third wave feminism?
So, first wave feminism was when they wanted equal rights, like rights to. They're not seemed as less than of a human than men. Sindio. Then the second wave is when they wanted to work and they wanted the votes. Then third wave feminism is what we have today, where we're equating men and women, which I feel like is horrible. There's no day I'll ever be equal to a woman, and there's no day a woman will ever be equal to me. It's both ways. No, I'm not trying to say that somebody is better than the other one, but we have to understand our differences and work with our differences to make something that's complementary. You get me?
What's so
Like,
bad with being equated to a woman?
it's not because we'll never be, as much as I'd want it to be, I'd never be equal to a woman. First of all, through biology, I can't give birth. So there's
So
certain
what's the
times.
problem with that?
What's the problem with that? Is that there's no problem.
Like,
I'm saying we're not equal. There's no issue.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
Okay,
So
now,
what's the
now,
point?
so now, if I was a president, I wouldn't want to take women into war. I wouldn't want to draft women to go and fight. Why? You
Mm,
get me? But now
They want
since
to, why not?
it's not exactly now, just because, okay, this may sound wrong, but if a child wants to do something, just because they want to doesn't mean they should.
So in
I
this
ain't saying I
analogy, is
ain't
the
saying
woman
the
the child?
children. I ain't saying the children. Okay, let me give this example. If we're in the army, because of our biology, in general, women won't be able to carry as much as the men will carry.
Actually, the USSR had a lot of female soldiers. The
Fine,
Zapatas had a
they
lot
had,
of
but they
female
never went to the
soldiers.
front lines. They weren't
They
fighting in the
did.
front line.
They won.
Okay, exactly. Back to my point. If I'm in the front line with a babe, so if I get shot and somebody needs to be carried, most in generals they're not going to be able to carry me for as long as of a distance as a guy would.
And you're basing this off of,
I'm not. I'm basing this. You're telling me how tall are women generally?
I
How tall are
think
women?
I think there's a general misconception that comes with inscription of women to the army, because there's
Mm-hmm.
certain, what's the word? Like you can't be a certain height, you have to go through the same training. So this
Exactly,
idea
and they
that
don't go through the same training.
biological,
They don't go through
they
the same
do,
training.
like,
Like their reps are lowered because they're women. They won't be. They physically can't.
okay.
You
So
get
what
what
you're
I'm
saying is
saying?
because there's biological differences, feminism is bad.
I haven't said that, fam. When have I said that?
I don't understand your
I'm
position.
saying
I think,
we shouldn't be like. It's like if human beings were born with three hands, so, and this job that
yeah.
needed three hands to do, the guy who has three hands excels at this job. Why can't we just let the guy who has three hands keep on doing this job, and the guys with two hands do the two-hand job better? Because you do it better. The three-arm job, you get what I'm saying? I ain't saying
So how
anybody
does
is
this
better than
equate
the other
to
one. Like,
feminism? I don't get it.
how does this equate to feminism? Now women
Yeah.
have to be drafted, because that's what it means of us
Mm.
being equal under the
You don't
law.
like feminism because women want to die in the war. I really don't get it.
Now you
You
see,
know, I've
you're trying to
never.
downplay it. Like I ain't saying anything. I'm talking about it all through. So, like, you'd hear, tell me a day and age, you'll hear a man saying, "I don't need a woman in my life." But you hear all the time women saying they don't need men in their life. You get what I'm saying? Because
Um,
we're being made to compare each other to, we're because there's the equal signs in between us. We're trying to be at the same level, or the baby is trying to be better. It's the same about gender pay gap. Do you think the gender
I
pay gap
think
exists?
I think you need to understand the, what's the word? The intersectionality between how capitalism pits two people against each other. Because I'm willing to accept liberal feminism has done more damage to the discourse about gender disparities. Because what happens with liberalism in general is it takes away the capitalist oppression or the inequalities because of, systems of competition, systems of comparison, systems of domination, and then they say a women can do, like, it's, oh yeah, so capitalism is about competing for access to resources. The
Mm-hmm.
liberal feminist perspective is, um, if there are less people in one group, just put them in that group. Obviously not. I think as every feminist wanted, like, I don't know. I still go back to what Marx was saying. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't call myself a feminist, I'm a Marxist. Like, as a Marxist, all of that applies. Gender equality, um, and everything, like, like, no systems of oppression, yeah? So I remember when the first wave feminists were saying we want to join men in the workforce, Marx was saying the liberation of women doesn't come with joining their men in being oppressed by
Other
the work
people.
system. It's by the work system. Because men, after at the turn of industrial revolution, men joined the work system and they were committing suicide en masse because it was horrible. Like, and we see this happening again today, not because of like women or feminism, but because the
Yeah.
system of oppression never left. Like people get oppressed in the workforce, then it's brought into other um like areas of their lives. So Marx was saying the point of feminist or women liberation isn't to bring women into the workforce, but to like get rid of it at large. I think feminism isn't about pitting the two genders against each other. It's by pointing out men oppress women this way, and men are also hurt because of patriarchy. But
But
whenever feminists talk about patriarchy, men don't want to listen. So it's like there's nothing we can do here.
first of all, I don't even you see when you say patriarchy, personally, I don't feel like it's like the term femicide. Personally, I never knew the term femicide before this guys were killing each other. Like it wasn't a term that was commonly used. Like I feel these things are like buzzwords that people use to group each other in. So like
Have you read anything about femicide? Or when you hear the word patriarchy, have you read anything about patriarchy?
when I,
Have you ever been
okay, my
curious?
understanding of patriarchy is that men want to be at the top, or they're at the top and then they enact certain rules that puts down the women or something of the sort, right?
Not your understanding. Have you ever read anything
No, I
about
haven't read anything.
patriarchy?
I haven't read anything about patriarchy, but that's the general consensus on it. Am I wrong?
That's the problem. The general consensus isn't what we use to have
So
discussions
what's
about
what's patriarchy?
literary work.
Okay, what's patriarchy?
It's difficult to explain because if your teacher gives you a reading to do and you don't, you go to the classroom the next day, you won't be able to do the discussion because
Fine,
everybody else is ahead of the class.
fine. What's patriarchy then? Explain to somebody who didn't do the assignment then.
Patriarchy,
Mm.
I have to explain it from socialization. So, in order for you to, a society has certain functions in order for it to work. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a society needs certain functions to be fulfilled in order for it to work.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for it to thrive, these functions need to work continuously over and over again. So, when you think about what sustains a society, it's like people live in communities and they need to have access to food. And if food, they need to have access to food, yeah? So, the roles, they need to have access to food. Oh my God, this is difficult. So, you need structures that can provide food and allow people to self actualize or to provide for themselves. So, you need people to go to work, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
So, the roles that we have in society are like attached to the functions that society needs.
Mm-hmm.
So, the kind of society that we live in right now is a capitalist society,
Mm-hmm.
and a capitalist society requires workers that can engage in a capitalist system without being told what to do naturally.
Mm-hmm.
The way that capitalism came into being was at the turn of the Industrial Revolution. At that time, working within the factories required people who were strong enough to work there, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So this is how we see marketing being a direct link between what the economy wants and how you construct your identity. So back then, the way that society worked before we had the Industrial Revolution was men and women would work in their families together, and there was like equality. Like even though I work in the house and you work in the, like, what is it called? Like you work in the farm, no one's better than the other. I don't know if there were less, I really don't know. I have to go and read about it. But all I know is they were taken to the capital city, and then society was like, we need, yeah. So they went and they worked in the factories, and obviously it was horrible. And like the factories were realizing people wanted to leave, so they were telling them to be a man is to be strong and to be resilient and to never feel your emotions, because they were obviously responding to the unfair systems within the factories, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for you to believe that this is true, like it was constantly being repeated to them over and over and over again. So basically what I'm saying is it's like the construction of like male identity is for the sole purpose of keeping the structures in place moving. It has nothing to do with like facilitating human connection. Because when you think about how a lot of men, especially in like the working class, how they view their masculinity in relation to femininity, it's like, I have to be the head of the house, you have to submit to me, you have to listen to me. And it's like, we don't really need power dynamics within a relationship. It's like, we're both equal adults who have equal responsibility, regardless of how we do it. It's like, just because the whole point is there doesn't need to be like a power dynamic. Power dynamics within relationships are kind of weird.
I
Like
feel
when
like
I
I
think
feel like
about
holy me personally, I feel like they're necessary so that you know what lines to pass or what not to pass. Because me personally speaking, and I don't know. Personally, I haven't understood anything you've said on what a patriarchy is from that. Okay, the guys were told they have to be a certain way so that they can work in the in the workforce. See you? Or there were roles put
patriarchy,
around
okay,
it. There were roles put around it, and the men had to fall in those lines so that they could work. Or what
okay.
did you mean?
So okay, let me modify then. Feminism doesn't want to take down patriarchy. Feminism is questioning patriarchal notions of manhood. That's what we're saying. Because you don't have to be emotionless to be a man. Like, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, if your masculinity is affecting your capacity to be a human being at full capacity, that's a problem. And it becomes an even bigger problem when it's affecting your relationship with people who don't share the same ideas with you. And then, because of the way society is built up, it's favoring these ideologies. I know there's a very big leap, but yeah, that's the problem.
So I'll read what Google says patriarchy is: a system
Mm-hmm.
of society or government in which men hold the power and women are largely excluded from it. A system of society or government in which the father or eldest male is the head of the family and a descendant is reckoned through the male line. And I think that's exactly what I said. You get what I'm saying?
So is patriarchy good or bad?
Personally speaking, show me one matriarchal society that stood the test of time. I ain't saying it's bad. If the babes are trying to show us something, I mean, I'm all for it, but through
I
the test of
really don't
time,
like
you really don't like
the
the
whole if the babes. Yeah,
if the babes.
it's condescending.
It's okay. No condescending remarks. I'm not trying to be condescending in any way. I'm just asking. Do you know of a matriarchal society? Maybe there is. I don't know. You could enlighten me. That
I
stood the
think
test of time.
if patriarchy was good
Mm-hmm.
and the way patriarchy expects men to behave in society, women wouldn't have a problem with it. Women have a
I
problem with it
agree. I
because
agree. I agree. The men are weak. True. That's true. So we should try and get
what? I
our
never
men.
said
No, like
men
the
are weak.
reason why they don't behave accordingly is because they can't stand by those rules. Like I believe if you were to go on a date, you would prefer if the man handled everything, prepared where to go.
No,
What? Okay. You wouldn't feel you wouldn't feel like it was good if he thought about where to go. He decided.
no. I think relationships
Okay.
are about equal give and take. I
It can't
think,
be. It can't be
me
equal. Okay.
personally,
Okay.
I think I'm too.
Look at the relationship
Uh,
with between a parent and a child. So,
that's the difference. There is no power dynamic
but think
between
about it. Think
two
about it.
people
Just
in
a
a
moment.
relationship.
Just a
A
moment.
child and a child and a parent.
Hmm.
The child comes under the pupillage of the parent because the child knows more, has more experience, has more access to, like, the child is, what's the word, the child is being protected by the parent. The child can't go into the world and feed themselves and go to school on their own, but these are two adults with equal capacity. It doesn't make sense to be like, you handle everything, I won't. I think it's silly. I really don't. I think that's one of the reasons why women are just saying we don't really want to be in relationships, because very few men want to move away from the idea that your masculinity isn't defined by how much power you own or how much control you have. If women are given more control in society and are redefining what it means to be a woman, and we're asking men, you can still be of value to me if you want to co-create with me, and men are saying no, it's my duty to be the head of the family and to be in charge and to tell you what to do, and when you go to dinner you do this.
It's
It's like
not.
I
It's
think a
not.
lot of women are compromising and are settling for scraps. I
But now you
think,
see,
yeah.
this is the question, eh? This is the question. When they say, when you, like you've just said, they're settling for scraps. In the equation, most men are scraps. So, in the equation of relationships, most men are scraps. That's why they're not the top 10%. If they were in the,
You
and
see,
then you
you're
see,
thinking in terms
true.
of
Yes, I'm
there
thinking
is
that
no
way
top
because
10%.
there
It doesn't
is there
exist.
there is top
You mean
10% of men.
rich men? There's
it's
also
not
rich
it's not
women.
just rich men, and that's not what I'm saying. You see, when a guy has wealth, what it opens up for him is not the same thing that it opens up for a woman, because our interests are different. So,
Explain, I don't understand.
like, if this is society in general, this is not because I'm deciding to say this or this is what happens in
If it's
society.
society
You
in
see,
general, I would know. I don't know. So I
okay,
think
so
it's a
you
select
see,
few.
the top 10% of men will
I
have,
don't understand.
okay, you see, when a lady is asked, what kind of man do you see in your life? Who would you like to marry you? There's certain traits that she'll mention. She'll mention either tall, she'll mention the guy is making X amount of money, she'll mention the guy has, I'm saying a normal lady. If you ask a normal lady, like if you took 1,000 ladies and asked them, explain your dream man, they'll say things that that line up with each other. True or false? That can't be
I
false
don't
now.
think so.
Oh,
Yeah, because I've
what?
seen women who say,
What?
"I want a man who is responsible, who is
Exactly.
emotionally
You see,
capable, who has emotion. Like it's not about
like,
being tall, money."
sure, it's not about being tall. I agree. I'm a short nigga. It does for me clearly. When I go and pursue women, if she tells me because I'm short, and it's not that it's happened once, if she tells me I'm short, that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop because I know what I want. But she also wants something from, like, she wouldn't pick me just because I'm a guy who's willing to be with her. I have to be
So look
in
for
a
a woman
certain way.
who.
And now that's where we go
Okay.
wrong. When you tell, you see the way you were saying that in society we are told you can be anything. That's the same lie. That's the same lie you've just given to me right now. You
I
get?
think there's a difference. A lot of women. Okay. I think if I think about my friends, I don't like saying it's women who come from certain backgrounds that think a certain way. Because my friends, for example, we're not sure we want to get married. We just want to focus on our schoolwork. And when we're looking for partners, we don't really care about like the man handling money. It's like as long as I can co-create with you, that's cool. I don't know. I think I've had friends in the past who want a man to handle that. I don't know. I think
So,
maybe I have to go and read more about it. Because generally, even the men in my life, the men that I call friends, they don't think this way. They don't think that there's like,
they don't
they
think
have to
like me.
beat a 10%. Not like you, like,
Personally speaking, yeah. You see, this is the thing, and this is the thing. Okay, personally as a guy, and out of all the guys I've ever met, let me not, all of them think the same way. All of them think like they have to have an area in which they're able to dominate, and it's like it's basically like an animal thing. I won't even cap and say Sujati, it's the way nini nini nini. It's like an animal thing. It's like dogs. I have to be able to claim this as mine and I have to be able to protect it. If I can't, then I'm not worthy. You get?
do you think that's fair? You want to
It's not
compete in the
fair.
system?
It's not fair, but that's what I've been dealt with. I can wallow about what's fair or not fair, or I can work on finding a solution to it. So,
I think there's an alternative.
yeah, now you see that alternative is for me to convince everyone to accept my
No,
worldview. It is. It
No, you
is.
can just, if you want to accept the alternative, just accept it and then, yeah, I
You
think
see,
it's not
if
about,
I accept it, it means that I have to accept not getting the ex woman that I wanted. You see, because the ex woman
oh,
that I want also has to be thinking at the same wavelength as me. Like we need to be thinking about the
so,
same thing. Like you see, like you said, you wouldn't want to ever get. Okay, you're not thinking that you would get married. Personally speaking, I want somebody who wants to be married from the get go. You get what I'm saying?
I think this conversation has turned into many things. Are we, hmm, I don't have like a clear goalpost.
So anyway, like let's agree to disagree. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be, or whatever. But
I
another
think
question.
what I will say about patriarchy, I think it's more about like culture. Because I think people who grow in traditional backgrounds would want something like that.
True,
Um,
I definitely get
um,
that.
but I think it shouldn't be that way for a lot of people because it leads to this. Yeah, I think let's just say I have to go back to the drawing board and read more about it.
I have a question. What do you think about OnlyFans?
I think it's a product of the system that we live in. I think it says a lot if people feel like you can't use the means presented to you to provide for yourself. But if there is a market that's willing to pay tons and tons of money just for you showing your body, and you have a need to put food on your table, then it's like this is how the system creates people to be exploited. Obviously, I don't want women or anybody to feel like they have to sell their bodies, but it's like, then again, it's a product of the system, so I can't really have moral judgments about it.
Oh yeah, you can have moral judgments about it. Oh, okay,
I can, okay, I
Are
can
you
have
religious?
feelings about it. Mm, not really.
When was the last
I
time you?
believe in a God,
Hmm.
but like I don't agree with the institution of the church, especially in the African context.
So is it any institution or just Christianity and Catholicism?
Religious institution, organized
All
religion is problematic.
all of it is problematic. Okay. Um.
Or organized religion. Like God exists, yeah, I believe in God. I believe when God says love thy neighbor, that's the true religion. But I don't know about when Christianity wants to maintain systems of oppression, that's a problem.
Personally, I also agree. Okay, I don't feel like if he really did exist, I don't think he'd be mad at me because I never wanted to go to church.
Yeah, yeah,
Personally, that's how I feel. But people
yeah.
feel indifferent, and the books tell us otherwise. But wouldn't you? Okay, do you feel like these guys like have some merit from where they're coming from?
Which guys?
Muslims, the Talmud, the Bible, the Quran, nini, nini, nini. Do you feel like
Do I think
do you feel like the books have merit?
Um, yeah, I think when I struggled with my religion, I still read a lot of Psalms and Proverbs because they're still really smart, like good advice there.
Hmm.
And then when I couldn't understand some weird parts of the Bible, I'd be like, okay, the largest commandment in the Bible is love thy neighbor. So if this verse doesn't help me love thy neighbor, then maybe there's something I'm not understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has some merit sometimes, but then the gray areas that people don't really understand usually will, if it falls in the wrong hands, then people suffer. So it's like, yeah.
Um, if Christianity was real, do you feel like you're going to heaven?
uh, so I'm not just not religious, I
Uh-huh.
kind of practice spirituality.
Let's
And
let's let's give it a let's imagine God is there at his altar, Jesus on his left hand. Is it left or right? Right hand side, the angels, there's Gabriel there, there's Michael with the
Yeah.
red eyes. Do you think when they open the book of life, is your name there? But then what's your name? Shit.
Tess.
Tess. Tess, hi, I'm Mugambi.
Uh,
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you. But do I think I went to heaven? I honestly don't know. I can try my best to live according to what God wants, but I don't know. But that's not the ultimate goal. It's like my purpose in life is to make sure I don't cause that much pain in people's lives. So it's like if that's what I'm doing, that's cool. I don't think I use the Bible to guide my like I the only thing that I use in the Bible to guide my life is like love thy neighbor. That's it. I don't know if I'd go to heaven.
As you love yourself, don't forget the most important part.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah.
mm. Yeah, as a bunch of unreligious people, you quite know a lot about religion, don't you think so?
Yeah, that's the thing. I keep saying people who leave the church, people who leave the mosque, like they hold on to I don't know how to explain it. It's like I've noticed people who understand their religion better after they leave the church, after they leave the mosque. Yeah, 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 I agree.
Um, so you said, okay, tell me if this is too personal. You said you don't want to get married.
Yeah.
How long? What's the last relationship you've been in? How long did it last?
God. My last relationship was in this like we broke up in December last year.
What happened?
Yeah. Oh God. I don't know. Stuff
Come on.
happened. We grew apart.
Did you cheat?
No, I
Did he
don't
cheat?
the funny I
Men
keep
don't cheat.
no I don't know. I don't understand what he was doing. All I know is I was the only one who was monogamous and
And he
he
was
didn't want
polygamy.
to be he didn't want to be exclusive, but he never told me.
Come
So
on.
I found out. I'm like, what?
So if he told you, would you still be with him?
No, like
Why?
there's some things I want in a relationship. If you can't provide them for me, I'm out.
The
That's
monogamy
like
part.
when we yeah, like I was dating him and I told him this is what I want, and he was like, okay,
Okay.
I think this was a red flag. He gave me a yes no answer, and I was like, yeah.
Now, you see, this is the thing, with most men, they all think like me. You see, me, I'm just like him. So, but the difference is, I will tell you upfront. Like, I won't lie
Yeah,
about it.
I prefer that.
Now, you see, the issue
Yeah.
is, most men don't get any, or if they do get into the period in which they're getting shorties, they're like, bro, I can't fuck this up at any point. So they'd rather lie. You see,
Oh my
that's what I was saying.
God.
That's what I was saying. Those are weak men. You just have to be able to stand on what you say and do what you say. That's it. It's nothing more about it. You get.
And the problem is, like, Sawa, he's lying to me, yeah? Me, I'm
Mhm.
thinking I only have one boyfriend. I'm not entertaining anybody else. It's just me and him. He's lying to me that he wants to be monogamous, but he's being physical with other people. Now, how am I supposed to be like, yeah, this is my boyfriend, I love him, but he's also giving other women the same attention he gives me? You see, like, I'm unhappy.
If you were religious, it would say, love yourself as you love. Love your neighbors as you love yourself.
Yeah, so
Thank
I
God we're
love
not
myself.
religious. Thank God we're not religious.
Yeah. Oh. But still, I had to choose myself and leave. That's why
So, you said how long was it? Like
1 year.
1 year. 1 year is not even a
Yeah.
relationship. That's like yesterday. That she didn't even. That was a situation. Personally, I feel like you
But
need to
he
do.
was struggling.
I think he was.
He was struggling for that 1 year.
Oh, damn. Else for the guys. But anyway, yeah. You're moving on to better things, yeah. Maybe
Yeah, yeah.
on the first time you met, did he come in a suit? Come on.
No, we met in debate club in university. So a professional liar. I know I should have picked it out.
From the get go.
Uh,
From the get go. So, if this guy never his side wasn't open,
yeah.
you'd still be with him.
Yeah, like if you wanted to be monogamous, most of the problems you had in the relationship would
Was
have
just
never
because of
happened.
monogamy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
again, tell me if this is too personal. I'm just trying to like prove a point. So
It's okay.
could you tell me how tall this guy was?
Very tall. He's actually like stereotypical.
See what I
Very
said?
tall,
That's
stereotypical,
what. Yes,
masculine,
we're getting. That's the
big and
ten
buff.
percent. That's the 10%. You get me now?
Oh, so he
That's
has
the ten
access to
percent.
all women.
Exactly. So
Ah,
now let's go
this is
back to what I was just saying. This
disgusting.
is what I was saying before. So you see that kind of man, that guy you have, the tall, the masculine, has guap. You know,
Deep voice.
even
And
if
then
he's
in debate,
monogamous,
he was like top of the
and
speakers.
then he can pull other babes. So that also you need to be. You get. So these guys,
Wow.
you see, if we were to rate babes like 0 to 10, so you see
Yeah,
the guys who are tens, nines, and eights,
yeah.
they have everyone from four of the babes. They have the
All the way
fours,
to
five, all
10.
the way to the tens. So and then the seven, the six, the fives have the one, the zero, one, two, threes, and fours and fives. So then these are the guys. Anyone who's below five has no one. Those guys they have no one.
Um,
So those guys are struggling with
mm.
life. That's why incels exist. Cause
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God, there's nobody's picking them. So that's
Okay.
half of the men. That's how, and even half is very. It's supposed to be something like
Generous.
60-70%. Personally, that's how I
Ah,
feel it
okay.
is. And then now let me tell you the issue with the ones, the twos, and the threes, and the fours, and the fives, and the babes. Yeah, since a
Yeah.
guy who's up there thought they were cute, that's it. That's it. That's
That's
it.
bull.
You get. Then all the babes
Yeah.
want the guy who's up there, and then these guys are left doing nothing. That's why porn is. That's why OnlyFans exists. Can you imagine how easy it is to make money off of OnlyFans? This is why.
But I don't
These are
get
the
it.
issues of
What like
society. Again,
okay, what would you rate me as a 10 woman or what would you rate me?
why would you put me on the spot like this?
I don't mind. It's okay. Like I'm trying to see if I'm
I'd
trying to
say.
also prove a point.
I'd say 6. So I'd say
Damn, I'm a
6.
6.
Listen, no, because you know why I said 6? Because personally, I'm a 5, and I wouldn't meet a 10 on TikTok and she would reply. You get the 10
But
knows
that's
she's
the
a
thing
10.
I'm
The
saying.
10 knows she's a 10.
Maybe
In her
no.
head, she knows I can't answer to this kind of guy because that's what I'm saying.
Ah,
That's what I'm saying. We may be
oh,
we may be 10s, but society doesn't view us as that. You get, you
okay.
get.
But he wasn't like a 10 either. Like, oh,
Ouch.
I'm viewing him as a 10 because obviously I was in love with
he
him.
checks.
I don't think
He
he's,
checks the. Okay, he may not even be 10. Tens don't exist. The 1%.
it's subjective,
It's
yeah.
so. It's not even. They're so rare. You can't meet them. They're somewhere on yachts with $1 billion. We
Yeah,
don't get to
exactly.
talk to them. You get.
So
We
you
don't
pick
get
what
to
you can
meet.
get.
Exactly. Now that's
Okay.
that's that's at our level. I'm telling you, it's so sad for the guys. You don't even know. Me, Akwambia, there's number of situations I've been in because you see, most of my friends, all my friends date, and it's not okay. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on anyone's relationships, but
Yeah,
they're going
yeah.
nowhere. They're going nowhere. Like, come on.
I
I
get
look at
it
you guys. I
now.
look at you guys. This is going nowhere. Cause the moment this guy gets his hand on money, the moment he actually becomes successful, babe, there's no way he's staying with you no matter what. I don't care. He will
Now
cheat.
I
He will cheat,
I
whether you
get
like it or not.
it. So very few men like fall in love and they're like, I don't care where you're
Exactly.
from.
Exactly. Them they're playing a numbers game. They're playing the more times I get no, eventually a yes will come up. You get that's the game they're playing.
So you see now women are hearing this and they're like, okay, we don't want to.
So,
We want to stay single.
but now you see the babes will still get chosen by the tens. You see, even the fours and the fives will still be chosen by the guy who's at
But
7, 8,
even though
and
even though
then
they get chosen by the tens, maybe these women are like, finally a man who can commit to me, but he doesn't want to commit. So
exactly,
it's like, even
exactly,
if I get chosen, let me just
exactly.
stay on my
And
own because
that's
I don't
why
want to be played.
now you see that's why so many babes would prefer to be sightings. They want to be on the side because they know they
Wow.
can't get the 10. They can't keep him. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's always a hierarchy. Whether it may be here or it always exists. I'm not saying that people can't have an equal relationship. They can. But
Oh, yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
if they've been programmed with society as a whole, bro, there's nowhere that shit is going. There is nowhere it's going. As in, it's like, and then now my issue is like, let me give you an example of um a babe telling other babes that they should do X, Y, and Z, and then them when they in this, like Beyonce. So you remember
Yeah.
about Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce,
Yeah, it was a big
but
thing. She even
Jay-Z
made a whole album.
exactly, she made the whole album, but guess what? She went back, didn't she?
That's what I was wondering. I'm like,
Did
why
she?
did she go back?
Why do you think she went back? You think she went back because Jay-Z is so handsome? Jay-Z is an ugly nigga, but the guy has opportunity. Like, I know if I stay with Jay-Z, my life will be pristine. You
But
get?
Beyonce is also, I don't know if Beyonce is richer than Jay-Z.
But you see, all her businesses also depend on Jay-Z. Because if they break up with Jay-Z, it's bad for business. You get? Them they're at that point where it's bad for business. It's a bad look. I can't still have the prowess with this. Dating is just sad. Let me even
I
lie to
think
you.
I'm not the best person to talk about dating because I've been single my whole life. I'm one of those kids who's like, just stay in my room, read books. So I'm learning about these social dynamics and I'm like, what? There's no way.
This is you've heard about the red pill.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is just basically the red pill. It's just accepting, bro. You might not make it. Most likely than not, you might not make it. But the chance of you trying to actually make it is more fruitful than you choosing to be on the blue side, which is the blue pill. And the blue pill is just yeah, and the blue
Wow.
pill now. And now,
So
uh huh,
So now, okay, one last question. So, like, obviously, we've established tens are like untouchables. You barely see them. They live somewhere on a yacht in Maldives. So, guys use whatever advantage they can get to seem like a 10 or to be attractive to
exactly,
more women.
exactly.
So, let's say a guy isn't like very hot in the face, but
He'll
he's
try and
like
get,
tall and
yeah,
he's buff.
he'll try and get money to get things to
Ah,
have around him. And yes, man,
boss,
yes,
yes,
you
man.
get. And okay, this is the part where I may say this is an advantage for the men over the women. See, babes, if you're
Yeah.
not dealt the face card, my God, I don't think there's much you can do. Personally, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
surgery or
no, I
something.
get.
But the guy,
Yeah.
at least you can work hard. You can actually try and build
Um,
something. And that's why you see this guy who actually
or
builds
some form
something.
of like power and status.
Exactly,
Um,
exactly. So that I can have access to these babes because I know the babes are probably they don't even see me. You know, that's the sad thing about it. You'd ask a babe who's been in the club, you ask her,
fuck.
which guys did you see? I saw no one. There's no one I saw. It's because all of you niggas are ugly. It's that simple.
Wow, 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 wow.
and that's why and that's why I honestly feel like the babes who like go out to try and date people who are celebrities and like people of power, top status guys, I
Yeah.
feel like you have to be they have to be a certain kind of way. So they can't
Yeah.
they can't be making fuck you money and still end up with a 10. It doesn't make sense because
So
the
they
guy
have
who's
to
a
also
10.
fit the role.
Exactly. You
Wow.
see, the more the babe makes go up, it's different on the side. The more the lady makes go
Yeah.
up, the more unattractive she is to the tens and the nines and the eights
Ah,
as the men.
that's
Because
bullshit.
because I worked so hard to get this so that I can get babes.
Mm.
Then you come here and tell me that oh we're equal. They'll fight. They'll definitely fight. That's why
This
there's
is so
discourse
fucked
all
up.
over. And it's such a simple concept to understand. And surprisingly, I just find so many people. Like, I know a guy who's been in a relationship for like 4 years. And this
And
guy,
he's unhappy.
it's not even that he's unhappy. It's just that he'll talk to me about getting other babes. He'll always be talking about other babes with me. So, and I know he
Yeah,
has this babe. And then I'm always put in the
yeah.
precarious situation of when we're with him and his babe is there, I just can't talk about anything. Because if I talk about
Ah,
anything, I'm like,
yeah.
oh, you get,
Even his
you fucked up
friends.
my relationship. You get.
Yeah.
It
Like
becomes,
now I know, now I see why people say ati mambo za relationships out to whatever, like other people
yeah,
don't. Because even me, I
keep
didn't
them
know about
aside.
this, and I had a friend who was dating one of my friends, and we were like friends, like my ex and him were like in the same group,
Mm-hmm.
and we would go drinking together. So his girlfriend wasn't around, and he was like, you know, fooling around another chick. And I was like, hey, this isn't okay. Then I tell the girlfriend and it backfires on me. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, huh?
Stay in your lane. Nakwambia,
Wow.
it's just as in, and you know the thing is, you see, all this was brought about Mark Zuckerberg. Fuck Mark Zuckerberg. If there's a CEO who shouldn't exist, all the others can exist. Fuck Mark Zuckerberg. Because the reason why all of this exists is because of Facebook. It's
Huh.
it's easy access. Like the
Oh, like social
babe
media.
gets exactly the babe got now gets all the attention
Oh.
she needs. Like she wants attention. Let me just post this
Oh.
thirst trap. We'll see who will done. Then now I'm competing. Now this
Man.
is why the 10% man has to exist even more. Like, and it's slowly becoming 5% and slowly going to become 1% because you have to be like, you just can't. If you date a babe that's in the limelight, it's like fucking up your relationship. It's like, you remember, what's this guy who was on Machachari.
Ngovi.
She's the one who has he had a babe who's pregnant, and then they gave birth, and
Um.
then it's Baha. Sorry, it's Baha.
Oh,
It's
Baha.
Baha.
Yeah.
Baha. She has his babe. So the babe
Yeah.
on the side, she's selling pictures of herself, and they are getting a child. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how
And
sad
there
that is?
aren't people who are like, fuck whatever society thinks. I love you and I'll stay with you against the odds. Like,
Okay,
you
it
fight
does
the urge to
exist.
want to access. Yeah, like, for example, if I didn't have, if I was, okay, I think if there was a guy who doesn't fit the 10 and he's been dealt with else his whole life and he's like, I don't want to commit to the system, maybe I don't care what society thinks I should do I don't want to attract many women, I just want to find that one woman I can love. Like, people like that don't exist.
They do, but there's so few. Okay, this is what I'd say. They do exist till they get money. The issue is money, because the money brings the opportunity.
Like,
They
women
all the
actually
men.
throw themselves to people who have money.
Oh my god, Yani, I can give you instances of, like, you see, incels.
Yeah.
Incels are the ones who are promoting these babes, cause like, let me tell
Yeah,
you
the ones who subscribe to OnlyFans, for
exactly. So
example.
so the thing is
Oh,
the 10 who has an OnlyFans knows that there's so many guys who are looking at her. So she starts the
yeah,
OnlyFans. She starts selling the photos. The guys who are
yeah,
buying the OnlyFans cannot
yeah,
afford to be with her. So, cause she has a certain
mm,
lifestyle. So,
yeah.
and now you see the men who have her don't care about her because they know what she is. She's basically just a
So people
succubus.
aren't.
You know,
So
you know the term succubus.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
So
basically that.
so it's like you have the money to access these women, and you just buy them,
Exactly.
and you're not really in love with each other. You're
But
just
you see, the guy has gotten to a point in his life. It's like, it's basically hedonism. Like, there's no
um,
number of women that will fill that hole. Like, that's
ah,
why
Okay, okay.
Think about it. Jay-Z had fucking Beyonce. Have you seen Beyonce?
Yeah,
Beyonce
that's
is
what
every
like I
man's
would
dream.
teach people.
But guess what? The guy still cheated.
Yeah.
So is am I the one who's trying to say that if I had the guap I wouldn't cheat on Beyonce? I mean Jay-Z did it. you know. So
Oh my
why would I
God.
lie to myself that if I got into that situation I wouldn't cheat? That's the thing. So it's like, and this is what I'm saying, like, and sorry to say, but I feel like Islam handles this thing way better than any other institution, any other possible institution, whether it be the government, whether it be what.
Mm,
Islam handles this because it tells them you can have four, but you have to take care of them. You get? It's
God.
not against. We do not
Mm.
say no to this. We, we in fact, if you, the more the merrier. Just as long as you can
But are
take
they
care of
all
them.
loved equally?
Now that's the thing. You have that's taking care of them. If one feels less than the other one, that means you're not taking care of her. Therefore, that's wrong. You
But
get?
even though these guys are is okay, maybe so this I don't even know how to view it. So there's a
I
reason
think
why a lot of people
I,
listen to like Americs and
exactly. A lot of young men, not people, young
yeah, yeah,
men.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So it's like, you see, with the four beds, this is where me understand it. It's, I feel like in a relationship there has to be the adorer and the adored for it to work. You can't be adoring each other. It's like a mentorship program. Sorry to say, it sounds bad. It sounds bad,
God.
but you get. So if I get, say, have the four babes here, I'm married to all of
Yeah,
them. So I'm supposed to
yeah.
make, even though this one's number one, I'm supposed to make her feel like she's not getting enough as number three or number two or number four. So at the same
Yeah.
time, when I'm with number three, I should make her feel like number two, number one, and number four are getting more than you. So that all
Why?
of them are like in check. It's like they're playing a game on, it sounds wrong. I know it sounds wrong, but
Oh, that
it's
sounds
like,
exhausting.
it's exhausting if you can't handle it. I mean, if
Yeah,
you
I
don't have
don't
the
think I
willpower to
can.
do it, yeah, it's
Yeah.
truly exhausting. I won't even
I,
lie.
now,
But
when you say it like that, I'm seeing what my ex did, and I left because I'm like, I can't do this. It's
it's
so
too much work.
tiring. Yeah,
uh, hey,
it's
I'm
like
telling you,
watching out for competition, even in my personal life. Like,
exactly.
I have to compete out in school, in the workforce,
But now
then
you
in
see,
my
but now you see,
relationship.
if you're with that 10% man, there's no point of going to work. You can read, you can study, you can
Oh,
have your spa that doesn't make any money, but it's just a spa. That's what they do. They're given these businesses because I'm telling you, if you ever see a spa being opened up, just need some sponsor somewhere who's trying to like give his babe a
that's
job.
a sad, sad one. So, knowing all of this, do you
Uh,
think people are happier now?
no, I know they're not happier.
Yeah,
They're not happier,
that's horrible. So
especially
now
for
you
the
see why
men.
people
Yeah,
exactly. So now I see why a lot of men commit suicide or they become
true,
incels.
true. But
What?
again,
That's
but
so
again,
fucked up.
you know,
Yeah. So now if you're able to detect the way men are suffering, how
mhm.
come you don't have like men rights activists who are like
It's
who
because
can
most
join
men
both
think it's
with
sick.
women?
They think now you're sick in the head. Like, personally, let me tell you one view I have that I know maybe, like, if I talk to, like, if it's not like, let me say, if they're not just people who know that guys usually debate and people talk about controversial
Yeah.
things, me personally, I don't
Mm,
feel like depression exists. So that's my personal view.
yeah.
Because
Okay.
if I have it in my head, it means I have an excuse. I can say that I'm not feeling this way and that way. That's why I didn't do X, Y, and Z. You see,
Mm.
even though I feel depressed, I will never identify as a depressed person. I don't care what the fuck is going on in my life. I am not going to agree to identify as a depressed person because the depressed people think a certain way. They feel like their life isn't working out because X, Y, and Z is happening.
Oh,
Instead
so
of
it's like
thinking
you're
about it,
thinking,
instead of sitting down and thinking about it and personally I also hate therapies. I went for therapy for like
Yeah,
3 days.
even I
I
hate
was like,
therapy.
nah, this is
Yeah.
not for me. Because what are we doing? We're just talking about my problems, and then what's the solution to this? There's no solution you're giving to. I mean,
Mm.
what is it about life that you know that I'm paying you to tell me? Like, come on, you could have been more than a therapist if you knew something that was so OP. You get so I don't care who's died, what's going on. Life will still move on. Therefore, find a solution, okota shida zako, and
Wow.
move on. Because the moment
Wow.
the moment you give yourself that chance to start sulking, that's it. That's it. You might get into a cycle that never ends. And personally, that doesn't
Mm.
feel nice at all. It does. I'd rather be smiling and know that shit is about to happen and go on. It's that simple.
So you don't want to listen to the feminists who say, yeah, we don't like the way certain relationships expect women to behave, and we also don't like the way certain relationships expect men to behave because we think it's unfair.
Okay, to a certain point. But this is the thing, eh? There's pros and cons to everything. It can't be
Yeah.
it can't be equal. There has to be like if we don't fight, how will we ever mend it and move on? If we're always on the same page, it may feel like I'm dating my bro, man. It's kind of personally, I feel like
Wow.
as in it's like I was asking myself, why is it that I'm sorry to say, I know so many people who are like
Yeah.
in marriages, and the marriages are abusive. Like no lie, they're abusive.
Yeah,
But my
yeah,
question
yeah.
is, how comes they still keep on, like, after 15 years of being whipped and whipping each other, you guys are
Wow.
still together? What's happening? May I feel like it's something to do with emotions, and it's either the babe will hit the guy and then washikane hivi wase hey, lazima they end up having sex, and it becomes a cycle of I beat you, after I beat
Yeah.
you,
Makeup
sex.
sex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Over and over and over and over.
It's
Because
a toxic
personally,
cycle
I
of,
don't understand how somebody would beat me and I'd
and you
still
still
be
stay
there.
in the
And I'd still
relationship.
be there. How?
Gosh, what a horrible, horrible world. Oh my God.
And I'm telling you, it's me personally speaking, yeah, sometimes I feel like it's so sad for men. It's so sad to the
Yeah,
point,
I never
like,
understood. I'm like, I don't get it.
but, and then the thing is, you find some men who like it like that. Like,
And like,
I won't even lie to you, eh? At times when something comes easy, you feel like, I
you didn't
this
earn it.
is this is not like personally speaking. You see guys who are in like wealthy families and shit.
Yeah.
I thank God I'm okay. People may say I'm in
Like
a well-off
Successions. Have
family.
you
Like
seen?
like Prince of Abu Dhabi. Imagine you're the fucking Prince of Abu Dhabi. Fuck life. Life
Yeah.
doesn't make sense at all. Like when the first time you tasted pizza, you know, the first time you tasted
Yeah.
pizza, or the first time you went to like a high-end resort or a
Yeah.
hotel, that feeling, that guy never has, he will never feel that. Can you imagine never feeling that? Like feeling,
Oh, like being
because
born into
everything is
a.
always there. Everything you wanted,
Oh,
this ati my dad bought me
yeah.
a Mustang. You think that guy is ever going to value cars ever in his life?
Ah,
He won't. He
okay.
won't. Now those are the guys who have weird. They do weird things in life. They're like, I have what's it called? You'll find a guy who have you watched? Let me. The best example is this movie called American Psycho.
Yeah, I love
You've
American
watched American
Psycho.
Psycho. That's basically it.
Yeah.
The guy has no
Oh,
feelings. He's just a flesh of meat. He's just there.
yeah.
He's
So
and
you
then
see why we
Patrick
say
Bateman is
most
is an
men.
idea. Is he's it's like a fucking trophy.
Exactly.
That's what everyone is chasing now.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Oh
People,
my God.
everyone, most men would prefer it like that because I know I just need to do X, Y, and Z, and my
Um,
facade will exist. Once it exists, okay,
yeah.
there are
You
some
see,
men who are like actually what they speak about. They're actually that guy,
yeah,
and
but
now
most.
all of us are trying to be him. That's it. because his method
So now you
works.
see, yeah, in psychology, that's similar to narcissism. Not
Yeah,
like all men are
yeah.
narcissists. It's like,
Nah, all men are.
yes,
All men are. All
yeah,
men are.
yeah. Because I was thinking about like narcissism and BPD are two sides of the same coin, but men are more likely to be diagnosed with narcissism and then women with BPD. So it's like,
BPD
okay.
is bipolar.
No, borderline personality disorder.
Borderline personality disorder. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. True, true that.
Yeah.
And also,
Wait, so you think all men are narcissists? Wow.
personally, like to a certain extent, you have to be like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You see,
yeah.
okay, this is the main difference I think is there is between men and women. So it's not even CGT one has extra parts of the nah. It's
Yeah,
it's for babes, you'll get emotions like something will click in your head. I feel like doing this, then she'll do it.
yeah.
So
Mm.
then she'll do it, and then in the middle of doing it, she'll feel a certain other way. Then she'll stop doing it. So for the guy,
Yeah.
it's fine. I feel fucked up. Now what do I do? I can either go and commit suicide, or I can keep on fighting this cycle over and over and over again, even though I know I won't win, but at least I'll be doing something. It's always a an action type of. Let me put it like this. It's
Ah,
the masculine thing is I need to be acting. So there has to
constantly
be,
doing.
yeah, exactly. There has to be motion, and then the feminine
Mm.
trait is, you see, like it's attraction. Anything that's coming back in is feminine. Anything that's
Mm.
outwards is masculine. It's like, even if you think about it to a certain extent, you see the men who are in that top 10%, most of them have
Yeah.
feminine traits. The thing that attracts the women is feminine things, because it's clothing, it's the way they look, it's and all that's all femininity. Like
Um,
those traits themselves are feminine. Like
wow.
men shouldn't be showing off. Literally, even social media. Me sitting down and doing this, I have to. It's like I'm in a shot. I just have this on top. You get. I have to.
Mm.
I have to be of. I have to show myself in a certain way to get this. And for me to show myself, I have to act on it. That's the thing. That's the thing. And I feel like if people understood that, relationships would be way better. So many more men would
Yeah, yeah,
be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
happy. Divorce rates would be so low. You get that kind of thing over and over and over again. But
So you're just dating an idea.
Cinder,
Oh God.
it's life, eh? It's life.
Ah. Yeah, let me be single until further notice.
But don't be single. Come on, get okay. Do you want to get kids? It's
In
fucking
a
kids.
perfect world where I didn't have to watch out for my husband looking for a woman to cheat on, maybe. But if things don't change, I'll just donate my eggs.
So okay, like okay, me personally, okay, this may sound sexist when I say it, but again, I'm not trying to come off sexist. Could you tell me what's happier for a woman? What's more happier for her than, like, generally, than getting kids?
Um, for me, I don't know. I don't want to go through 9 months. I don't want to be pregnant and not in a relationship, but I don't want to be in a relationship that I don't know will last long. So it's like I'd rather just not have kids. But for me, I can think of many things like a job. I'd still have
Job,
my friends.
job, come
Yeah,
on, job can't be there. Come on,
yeah.
literally,
I
you wake
don't.
up and you're like, I want to go to work.
Yeah, like I'm studying
What
philosophy.
what work do you do? What's your job?
Um, I don't have a job, but I'm in university. I'm
So,
hoping maybe I'll do something in research or teaching. So if I can wake up every morning and be like, let me get this essay done, like, yeah.
hey, you. Okay, personally, me, I anything office related, nah, that's not for me. that for hey yo me personally I also quit school. I'm a fucking dropout. We're moving on with
Yeah.
life. But
Yeah.
back to the getting kids thing. So if it was a perfect world, and what does the perfect world entail?
A man who can commit to just one woman and doesn't
Okay,
believe
do you
that.
understand why a man would cheat?
Yeah, like I get it's like you have social currency, so it's like
Okay,
if I didn't
apart
have
even
money, if I
okay,
yeah, like
let
if I was being ignored by women one day, and then I have all these things that attract women, like
mhm.
I can understand you're like, yeah, let me get all the
True, true,
women.
true, 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 true. But
Yeah,
then
but
again, there's also levels to it. So
yeah.
there's also levels to it.
It's
Cause
a explain to me because I've tried understanding men. I'm like, I really don't get
so
it.
there's the level like as much as you see for me to like pick a wife, say that will you
Yeah,
marry me? Will you marry me?
yeah,
So it's the guy
mm.
who gets to choose who he marries.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and
Like
then
the
the
pace of the
lady
relationship.
and then the lady
Yeah.
is the one who like initiates the relationship and makes sure the relationship keeps on going. So
What? It's
like
not both parties.
okay,
Ama, this is just how it is.
this the general side, the society side, eh?
Okay.
So the reason, okay, okay, this is for me, and I feel like it's also the same for most men. Most men don't
Yeah.
cheat because they love another lady. It's fucking purely physical. It's just a
That's still
physical
fucked
thing.
up.
True, it's fucked
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Sour,
yeah.
it's true, it's fucked up. But personally, I'd want to ask you, what's more fucked up? If I cheated on you because I loved the other person, or I stopped loving you, that's why I cheated, or this is just me. So this is just me. This is my
Wait,
body.
they're both. It's true. Wait, what are the options?
Like, okay, my understanding is that if a babe cheats on you, it's because she doesn't love
Yeah.
you anymore.
She fell in love.
She fell in love with
Ah,
somebody else. She stopped
okay.
loving you. So for
Okay.
the
Yeah.
guy, it's not about love. I will go and cheat and come back and sleep in the bed like a good boy because I know I love you. So
Yeah.
there's no time I'll ever invest what I had for you in the other babe. You get? Unless I don't love you. You
It's
see,
still fucked up because I'm
like
like,
your ex.
the
You
way,
see,
yeah.
he still loved you. That's why he was willing to lie and do all these extra shenanigans. That was too much
The
work. Because think about it, it would be so simple for him to say, would you want me to be polygamous? You say no, and then he moves on.
then the
But he
relationship ends
wanted to
up.
keep on
Yeah.
doing all these extra shenanigans, all this, as much as he's trying to show himself off, being that top percent man, being buff, nini 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 nini, and still lie on. You get? He's doing too much work. Why would he do too much work if he never
Mm.
loved you? You get what I'm saying? That's why I feel like
But
men and
I
women
don't know how to feel
love each
about
other
it.
different. True, personally speaking, even me if I was a babe, I'd be like, fuck you. But anyway, I'm a guy, so
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm still thinking, because the more lies you put in a relationship, the less trust you have for the other person. It's
true,
like,
but it's
if I
cause
don't trust you, then every small thing, it's like, who did you go out with? What are you doing? Where are you going? Who is that? Who
but
is
he's
that?
trying to get a trust. That's what matters. See?
But
See?
anyways, yeah, you were saying,
So
yeah,
anyway, if I have this is a very again I have to put in these warnings before I say something that's out of this is out of pocket.
yeah.
This is out of
Just
pocket.
say it's realistic and
If
not what you.
if 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 all babes had their body count in the head, like if it was okay, not the head or somewhere like you'd be able to see like an
Somewhere you
ID,
can see,
like an ID.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think all the problems you see this capitalism that you're saying that is all these problems would have been
Mm.
solved, all of them, all of
Now
them.
me, I have a body count of one.
You see, if you see now, guys would want you. Most guys would want you, not the one who was 37. But you see, you can't tell the difference between the babe who was 37. You can only go through appearance. Oh, this one had nyash. Oh, this one had. You get.
What does body count matter? Like, what does it do?
Personally, I wouldn't want a wife who has a body count of over 5. It's too much for me. It's too much for me because she already has a perception of anything above. Okay, 5 is okay. 20,
Over,
25.
over.
You know,
Ah,
and they do exist. There's a lot of them. They do exist. So like, the issue with such a baby is she has an idea of a man in her head. It's like the Jada Pinkett and Will Smith thing.
yeah.
Can you imagine
Oh,
being Will Smith, bro? He's fucking like, you can't compare me and Will Smith. Will Smith is ahead of me in every
mm,
possible metric. Then Jada Smith wants somebody who's dead. Can you imagine competing with a dead guy? This guy wants. She's busy writing letters to Tupac, and Will Smith is out. Can you imagine? Because she has this idea of a man. So she has this idea
really?
of. I'm telling you, that's the issue with babes who've had high body counts. Mara, you're not fucking her the way CG who was fucking her. Mara, CG, you don't do X. She has
Um,
too much baggage, personally. That's how I feel like. She's gone through
okay.
so many breakups, fam. This is not going anywhere.
Um,
You've been perverted. I think that's the word that's the best word I can say. You've been perverted.
yeah. Okay, I
You're
get
in
it
too
now.
deep. So if, because then again the babes would be thinking like, if this number goes up, the guy who's the best for me won't pick me. Therefore, I just won't sleep with anyone.
Yeah. What?
See, I've solved society. But who's going to listen to me? Who?
You can start videos on TikTok. I don't
No,
know.
they're going to ban me because all of this. Andrew, this is what Andrew Tate speaks about. Basically, most of these points, this is what Andrew
Oh,
speaks. But the issue is they feel a certain way because he said it
yeah.
in. And I'm telling you, emotions is like, I don't even know how to put it. Emotions should be like the last thing we should be using to make logical decisions. Like decisions that affect people and shit. Nah. We shouldn't use emotions.
Mm.
But it ends up being emotionful, and that's the life we've been dealt with.
Man, I'm just thinking this is too much work because I have so much baggage I have to process from my past relationship. I don't want to do this again. No, 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 no.
uh, so I want to ask you,
Yeah,
we've been speaking about equality and feminism and all that.
yeah.
When you say equality, do you mean equality of outcome or equality of opportunity?
Because of that whole discussion we've had, now I see why people say like men and women can't be equal.
Exactly. See,
So
yeah.
that's okay.
Now you should be pushing for the
Ma,
opportunity. All the third wave feminism is pushing for equality of outcome. Outcome being the example of, um, if we say the government, we need to hire uh, architects or engineers, we pick 50% women, 50% men. But if we pick, because the field itself has a proclivity of having more men interested in it, there'll be more men who will be at the top. Like the best engineers will most likely than not be men. So if we do it
yeah.
50-50, we will lose quality because of this equality of outcome. And now that's my issue with
Okay.
us saying that men and women are equal, because it's the same thing with sports. If if men and women are equal, why don't we have competitions of the same sports? There's a reason why we have men's sports and
Yeah.
women's sports. There's a reason
Ah,
why we have prisons. Like now you see the issue of transgenders. It messes up the
yeah.
whole of society, because now if there's a man who transitions to a woman, do we take him to a jail for women, or do we make now new jails for just transgenders? You get, it becomes a
Okay.
whole issue that it starts blurring the lines, and that's the issue when the
Yeah.
lines are defined this way, me personally, I feel like we should stick to them. I feel like they're good where they're at. Capitalism has done quite. It's not the best. It's not the best, but we've gotten somewhere. We have
Okay.
something. We have something. Let's not downplay it that bad. It's somewhere.
I think when you say third wave feminism, I think you have a problem with liberal feminism. Because liberal feminists are the ones who say, let's put more women in tech, let's
Exactly.
put more men in, like, yeah. Liberal feminism
Exactly.
doesn't really benefit anybody. Yeah, I
Anybody. It
agree.
it destroys
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
Well, that's the
I
way,
don't know.
man.
You've given me a fresh perspective to go and look at things from. Wow. So, is this harder for like men who aren't as wealthy?
Yeah, completely. It's the most difficult, and that's what makes it sweet when you finally make it. That's that's the cherry on the top. Like, out of
Mm.
all the shit I was looking at, bro, like I saw a statistic. Oh my god, this statistic is so it's just wild. Like, if if I was more in tune with my feminine side, I'd be crying. I There's no way I'd be streaming it. Like the
Yeah, I
reason why
know.
um statistically men commit suicide more successfully than women. It's not only because the women aren't trying. It's because the men are most likely to use a lethal, like a completely lethal means. So
Yeah.
can you imagine
Oh,
how sad that is?
they're
Just
actually
because of
trying
a
to
man.
die.
Just because of a man. When I actually say I'm going to commit suicide, I most likely than not I'll actually fucking die, cause I'll choose something that for sure will fucking kill me. I won't do pills. I'll go and fucking jump off of a building or shoot myself or
Oh. Wow.
It's wild. It's wild. That's a wild statistic, personally, if you ask me. That statistic fucks
Yeah.
up. It fucks up my mind most of the time. Like, I hear this shit, I'm like, enough of that shit. Let's move on. Let's go to the next thing. Enough talking about that, cause like it's eerie as hell. Like, even in China, in the
Yeah.
this company, I think it's called Foxconn, the one that makes iPhones. I can't remember what its
Um,
name is.
yeah, I
It's
don't think
Fox
I know it.
something. So apparently, like, guys started like committing suicide. Like, they'd agree at this time, since you're friends with somebody and he's working on another floor, they just agree at 8:30 we jump off the building. So like it started becoming a trend, and it was mostly guys. You know what these guys did? They fucking put nets on the side so that if you jump off, you don't
You
completely
get
die.
caught.
Exactly.
Wow.
Imagine. And you know what?
Damn.
The guys are still working. You'll wake up tomorrow like nobody's oppressing you, because
Oh,
if
it
I
makes sense
accept the only
now.
other answer here is I'm going to kill myself. Because what am I doing? Nobody
Yeah.
loves me. Nobody even sees me. No babe is like interested in me. Like, babes aren't going out saying, yo, this guy, he talks to me. Nobody cares about you, fam. Eh? Nobody cares. You just move on with your life.
Wow.
It's like that. And then this is why when a babe, this is why they don't want to be in tune with. Okay,
The
I wouldn't say
emotions.
it's not being in tune with the emotions. It's just that the emotions are there, but you say fuck
But
them.
you,
It's fuck them. It's not
yeah.
that I don't feel the emotions. It's I may feel the emotions, but this is the way I'm going to behave, irregardless of how I feel. So like, babes would a guy will go and ask a babe out, and the babe
Yeah.
will say no, or some weird reason. I have a boyfriend, nini 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 nini.
Yeah.
And what's the guy supposed to feel about that? Like, I
Shame.
know, fine, I may feel shame, and then
Oh.
I keep on feeling the shame, and then I never approach any other babe because I know she'll say no.
Ah.
So that's why most guys, that's why they end up not even being able to read social cues, because his
Ah,
mind is on the goal. And
what the
I'm
fuck?
finding, nakwambia, it's, and this is all controlled by women. Like, you get, like, men's lives would be much more easier, but the women make it more difficult. Some women, let me say, some women make it more difficult. Like, guys who go to the army, imagine being drafted into the army.
Yeah, then your
Man, your
wife.
wife is fucking the neighbor. Like, oh my god, that's just too
Wow.
wild for me. Like, that's why I'm saying, hey, nah. I'm also the same. Personally, I do not want a relationship unless I know I can afford the
Wow.
relationship, which I think should be all men. And now this also, look at how this plays into all of it. That's why you'll find men
Yeah.
who are in their 40s and their 30s want babes who are 19, 18, 17 post, 18, 19,
Mm.
20. Because the 19, 18, 20 year olds don't have a concept of how men should be. You see the babes who
Well,
are
even me, that's how I got manipulated because I didn't get it.
too bad.
Wow.
And it's and it even gets worse. You know what? It even gets worse. Yeah. Now you see
Yeah.
the 10% man, the top 10% man. These guys are just
Yeah.
sharing women. They're
Yeah.
sharing
That's,
women.
I used to hear
They're
songs
sharing
on like
women.
the whole team smashed her. I'm like,
There's
really?
there's no one who's that. That's why I'm telling you, Islam is the answer. Islam is the answer. You will get a virgin wife, and it will be made sure that she's a virgin. You
Wow.
get, this solves society as a whole. Alhamdulillah.
Hmm. What the fuck? And men don't talk about their problems like, okay, yeah, you don't know. Because if you open up that kind of warmth, it's like, okay, this happened in this
Exactly.
time, and this happened in this
And
time, and then.
exactly. And if you have to talk about it, you have to go the Andrew Tate route, the Andrew Kibe route. You get? You have to be so
Ah,
exactly.
vulgar.
Exactly. Because if
Ah.
you're not, this is a weak man. Wewe so unawasha kamera ndio tuambie venye uko na mashida. I get.
So now with that worldview, people really hate people who talk about their mental illness.
Like, okay, for me
Yeah,
there's only, you see guys who have either you're schizophrenic
yeah,
or you have PTSD from war or like some serious
yeah,
car accident. Otherwise, if you tell
yeah.
me you have mental issues, bruv, there's something in your life that you're not doing right. Go outside and touch grass. It'll be fine. If you went outside, saw the sun, stop locking yourself in the room and watching TikTok on repeat and death scrolling over and over and over again, trust me, you wouldn't be saying you're depressed. That's how me I feel
Wow,
as a man.
wow. But some, what is it? Some people might try to do the block your,
True,
ignore
and
your
it
emotions
fails,
route,
and it
and
fails,
then they
and it
become
even becomes
schizophrenic.
worse. True.
Exactly. Like that happened with me. It's like you hide it as long as possible, and then now like you become psychotic and you have to take medications so that you stop hearing voices at night.
Now that, what, damn, that's serious. Okay, I won't lie. Sometimes it feels like it's the fucking end of the world. Genuinely, it
Yeah,
genuinely feels like it's the end of
yeah.
the world. But then again, now for me the voice is, so what are you going to do about it?
This is how people overdose on like ketamine and like hard drugs.
True, true. But like at the get go, it wasn't meant to be easy. If you think about it from it was meant to be easy perspective, you lose
It
it.
just hurts even
You
more.
lose it exactly.
Yeah.
So you always have to put yourself in this, like, I need to be feeling pain. I need to be feeling discourse. I need to be feeling something contradicting my life, so that I know I'm alive. So that I know this doesn't end.
Mm.
So the moment I start feeling depressed, I know this is the right thing. Okay, pause. It may sound wrong, but I need to be feeling that. If I don't feel that tension in my head, it's like there's a time I used to be an atheist. So
Yeah.
complete atheism. And then I was like, fam, like if you look at the science the body needs to like function,
Yeah.
like I can just go and fill myself up with testosterone and then I look like some it's like I was
Yeah.
pumped in the night, or I can fill myself with
Yeah. Yeah.
estrogen and my body is different. And this is all from a
Yeah.
bunch of A's, DNA, these A's and C's and T's, and it's just a long
Yeah.
code.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, if you look at the code that's necessary for my laptop to work, it's not as complex as my DNA. So for
Mm.
this laptop to exist, somebody made it. There's no way for me to exist like there's no one. Like
Yeah. I
that's
know. I know.
I feel like that's just an ignorant way to think. Like, if you think
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
made by
Yeah.
someone, because come on,
Yeah.
how by chance? This can't just be by chance. So
Yeah.
like, I was, I
Yeah.
was, I was in that struggling and everything. Then I just got to the point where I was like, the emotions in me, like the way I experience the world, because how I experience the world is just through my five senses: my
Yeah.
sight, nose, my smell, taste, touch, whatever. And it's just all electrical signals. The sound will be
Yeah.
changed, the sight, same thing. But if you ask me, do I love my mom? That can't
Mm.
just be chemicals. It just can't be chemicals.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just can't be chemicals. If it is, then nothing makes sense
Real.
anymore. Nothing is
Yeah.
nothing
Nothing
is
has meaning.
valid. Exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing is valid. So I wouldn't want to go through that nothing is valid life, because the nothing is valid
Yeah.
life ends you up in nihilism, which is you look at the nihilists who are atheists and you're like, I don't want to be like that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
I think
that's
atheism, yeah, atheism is just it's skepticism about religion. It's just good to be a skeptic about religion so you can be like, okay, this doesn't make sense, but this makes sense, and then you can remove the bad parts from the good parts. But like to say that you're an atheist and there is no God, it's like,
wild. That's a wild take. Completely wild.
yeah. Also, I just wanted to apologize for like coming off really rude in the beginning.
Nah, 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 nah. No issue, no issue. This is what I'm used to. I'm telling you,
No,
I've
it's not
had a call.
nice. I
I've had a call where somebody said I'm completely shallow. They said I'm the shallowest of shallow human beings, because because I
yeah.
told him that thing about depression. I'm like, personally, I don't feel like depression exists. It does for some people, but
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not like a generally accepted thing. At three quarters of
Yeah.
the population is depressed. Fam, what do you mean? There's something these guys aren't doing. And
Yeah,
hey,
I
I
get it.
was called names. Anyway, that's how it goes, eh? So I'd like to ask you a question, eh?
Yeah.
Um, if I'd want you to explain your dream man. Achana na huyu mwingine huozi mno. So we want him to be monogamous. We want him to be
Um,
tall, buff.
I don't even have like a physical
You have to.
body.
There's no. It's just that
I'm thinking, I'm
you've
like,
never thought about it, but it's there. It's there.
I don't know. Maybe just like I usually go for fat guys. Don't laugh.
You should
I
have
said,
said don't laugh. I wouldn't laugh if you don't say don't laugh. Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I think
Why?
I'm willing to accept maybe there's something biological in
Mm-hmm.
women to want to have something big enough to protect.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't like muscles, and I think the whole when a man thinks like he is manly man when he has big muscles, I don't like it. So it's like, okay, I'm willing to accept maybe a fat guy.
But okay. Now you see me. I'm the completely opposite. Me, I want to personally. I'm on the verge of doing steroids. Like it's just this close, and I'll do steroids.
Yeah, if you want steroids, it's fine. Like I understand life is difficult. You should do whatever you can
Now,
to minimize your suffering.
the thing is, it's not even about minimizing suffering. It's now okay. Now
Attaining your gains.
this is probably a mental issue I have. I probably have
Yeah.
body dysmorphia, and I feel like anyone who's fucking done steroids or anyone who goes to the gym, like diligently, because I've been in the
Yeah.
gym for like 3 years now. So like guys
Yeah.
who go to the gym diligently, all of them suffer body dysmorphia. Cause
Yeah, they do. Even
there is
women.
no enough. There is no such thing as enough, bro. There's no way you can tell me. Like I look at this Mr. Olympian guys, and there's this guy called Kevin
Yeah.
Levroni. This may sound gay, but that guy looks fucking. That's it. That's where it's at. Cause that guy had 24-inch arms, biceps. Do you imagine fucking 24 inches? Boy, imagine how fucking 24 inches looks like. A
How
24
much
inch
blood
arm.
is his heart pumping? Like he hasn't died from a heart attack.
And he's still alive up to now, and that was in 1999. That was he was at his peak. So I'm like, the only thing this guy did was steroids. I have everything else. Like, there's nothing else I lack. It's just steroids. Come on, I fucking want to do that.
Yeah.
I'd most likely than not, I will. But anyway, anza tu polepole, tunaanza na creatine kiasi kiasi,
Yeah.
and then MK16.
Wow.
But that's life. So you said you want a fat guy.
Oh yeah. Okay. I was trying to answer the question. I don't have an image of like physical traits. I'm like, as long as I'm usually looking for like emotional whatever from because of my own personal reasons.
Okay,
Yeah.
now since you know how men process their emotions,
Behave. Yeah. Wow.
now
I
you
don't
know
even
that.
know.
Okay, then there's another type. There's
Maybe
another breed of man who
maybe a guy who is like, you know, he does all of that the way they process the emotions, but he's like honest about it, and he's like,
But again,
I just want
you
somebody
have
who
to
is
be
honest.
careful for what you wish for. Because again, if he's completely honest, you might not like it. It may sound, you know, repulsive.
Scary.
Repulsive. Like,
Really?
imagine if the guy told you, I want to fuck her. I want to fuck that other babe. You see, if he's
No,
completely
not
honest,
honest like that.
you see what I'm
Like
saying?
honest, like
He
okay.
has to know how to lie. You get for the relationship to work. He has to know how to lie in specific ways. This is why I was asking.
This is
You wouldn't like him.
horrible.
You wouldn't like a guy who sets up your date. Like you're just there. He calls you and then you're like, "Do you want to go out?" Say yes. All you need to do is dress up. He's already sorted the location. He's already sorted how you'll get there. Like I feel like
I don't mind a guy who is responsible, yeah. But my worry is if I meet a guy who is like that, when he's like, I want you to dress a certain way, I want you to behave a certain way, because I'm the man in the relationship, you can't behave this way. Like
okay now this
I
you see you've said it correctly, but you're linking it to the wrong thing. It's not because I'm the man in the relationship, you should dress a certain way. Stop thinking about it like that. Sawa. Don't think about it
it's
like
how
that.
exactly.
Think about it like this. Sawa. I'm supposed to be protecting you. Sawa. I
Yeah.
know most men are creeps. Sawa. Most men are creeps.
Yeah.
Sawa.
Yeah.
So if you dress in a certain way, guys are going to be creeping all over you. Sawa, which also puts me in a precarious
Mm.
situation.
Okay, not like dressing revealing. I mean like I'm thinking he wants like a trad wife, like a woman who dresses traditional. That's why usually when I hear that language, I'm like, okay, I don't want to dress trad wife. I'm o- I'm okay with wearing not revealing clothes, but you tell me I can't wear trousers or
Okay, trousers is a bit wild, but honestly, trousers is a bit wild. But okay, yeah, I get that. But don't you think that he has your best interests at heart? Don't think about it from.
um,
It's like government. We assume the government has the best for us. They'll make our roads. They'll do everything for us. And then when the government says you've done something illegal, you have to show up to court. I have to submit to them. You get?
But okay. But now if he's thinking I'm not the only one on his mind. Because when I think about my ex relationship, he never did any protecting. It's like most of his male friends were weird towards me.
That's because leave them alone. There's that man, and then there's the man we need. So let's talk about the man we need, not the man we don't need.
Then I guess if all men aren't like him, I'd be willing to play the whole
See,
woman role.
and
But
it would be nice. Don't you think so? It would be nice.
I would be sacrificing a lot.
What a lot.
I would have to do. You see the way you guys do. You listen to Andrew Tate. Then now, if I want to be in a relationship with a man like that, I have to listen to Shira Seven
Nah,
because Shira is like
nah, that's
most
witchcraft.
men.
That's witchcraft. Shira 7 is downright witchcraft. Which you've just brought up the most beautiful topic. Actually, I was going to ask you. Do you know about esoteric knowledge?
Yeah, like occult.
Yeah. That shit. You fancy that shit?
Yeah, I just bought a tarot card today, like a
Now
tarot
that's
deck.
witchcraft. That is witchcraft. That's haram. You shouldn't be using tarot cards. That's haram. So like there's a book I have. Let me just find it. Can you see this book?
No,
The
Secret History of the World.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
by
yeah.
Jonathan Black. This book, it's like this is my basic understanding. These guys said they knew like they know what they like some weird things. This is Illuminati or the Freemasons. Nah, there's nothing
Yeah,
amazing they know. You know about the
yeah, they
Kabbalion?
do. I know the Kabbalah, not the Kabbalion.
The Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism, see?
Yeah.
And then they have this gematria system of writing where each number has that's
Yeah.
the Kabbalah. So the Kabbalion is a book. Do you know about Hermes Trismegistus?
I've heard of it, but I've never really read about it.
Do you know about it's an ancient god in Egypt? Uh, Hermes was a man, but he was talking to this
Yeah.
ancient god called Thoth.
I
You know Thoth?
okay, I know Thoth. I know Thoth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the guy who was speaking to Thoth was Hermes Trismegistus, and he wrote down
Hermes, is it the
Trismegistus.
Roman god or the
Now
Greek god?
there's now and that's what this book explains. It's basically
Ah.
then there was a lot of crossover in like the gods, like
Mm.
because Egypt is so fucking old. Nakwambia, Egypt is so
Yeah,
old,
yeah,
like to the point like I'm even scared. Like me personally, I swear I'm even scared because you see Cleopatra. We are
yeah,
closer to Cleopatra than Cleopatra is close to the building of the pyramids of Giza.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
so fucking wild. So when these guys were going to Egypt, Kina Alexandria, Kina Alexandria the Great, Nini, and
Yeah, yeah.
Solon, the guy who even invented democracy. These guys were going to Egypt to speak about ancient Egypt. Do you know how wild that is? And that's like
Wow.
4,000 years ago. That's wild. That's wild. That's completely wild. So anyway, the Kabbalion is it's a set of rules that Hermes got from Thoth that explains
Mm.
the hidden workings of the universe, the behinds of the universe. So it sounds like some spiritual shit if you ask, honestly speaking, if you ask me, that's how
Yeah,
it sounds
yeah,
like, because it has
yeah.
the first law I think is as above so below, as within so
Oh,
without.
yeah. A lot of
Then
spiritual people say
and
as
then
above, so below.
exactly, then there's CG things about resonance. Everything has its own vibration, everything
Yeah,
has its
yeah,
own
yeah.
polarity, everything has its
Yeah,
own
yeah.
feminine and male side. So
Yeah.
now that's the Kabbalion. So
Ah.
like this book also explains how like those guys back then they had like a different sense of understanding from us. Some their pineal gland was bigger than ours apparently. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, I believe
I,
it.
the way they explain it also, I was like, well, like, cause there's no other way this makes sense. Cause the way they explain the stories of like, and the fact that you see in astrology, none of them
Yeah,
is ever contradicting. You see the way somebody may tell you that pi is 2
yeah,
point nini nini nini, then somebody is going to come up with another theory that disproves. Everybody
yeah,
agreed Mars was Mars, Aquarius was Aquarius. This does, and it's so
yeah,
fucking wild for me. Like, I can't understand how like they had a consensus on all that shit, and nobody's out
yeah.
of line. Me, that's the shocking thing. There's no Wi-Fi, there's no phones, there's no.
That's the
How did you
beauty,
guys do this shit?
exactly.
How did you guys do this shit?
That's, you know, a little side note. It's because of my spirituality that I'm like, maybe this isn't the best that we can do. Because all of the things that you're saying, yeah, I've heard of it, I believe in it, and we believe like everybody has, you know how the Bible says we all have a spirit in us. It's
Yeah,
the same, like spirit is like consciousness.
exactly,
So
exactly.
if we all resonate to a
That
certain
is.
frequency, we all think the same. Yeah. That's, but the problem is when you think about like life for men, for example, it's like, how do you even begin telling somebody like that, or there's a frequency.
Personally speaking, most of my friends think this is juju. I lie, I swear, they think it's all juju.
Yeah,
But okay, but to a
yeah,
certain extent, I also agree. Like, some of it is witchcraft. Some of it, you see, like tarot cards is downright
yeah.
witchcraft. That's witchcraft. Like,
It is witchcraft, but I will say go into it with an open mind. Don't believe it. Like, even me, it took me a while before I even accepted it because I used to read about astrology when I was 12 and I'm like, this is demonic. But then I took
but it
some time
is.
reading.
It has to
There's,
be. It has to be, cause
okay.
it's not
Do you,
from God. That's all I know. It's not from God.
it's okay.
It's not.
All I'm going to say is just read more about it.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to
Okay.
say because it
You,
took me a while to accept.
no, I have I've read okay, what I've read. Okay, I've gotten a book that explains tarot cards. It explains how to use even the length of your fingers and shit. It's some
Yeah,
juju shit. Juju shit. Okay, personally, it sounds like some juju
all
shit.
okay. Well, what I will tell you is
Hmm.
magic is supposed to bring us closer to each other. You
Hmm.
know how like the shamans and the Buddhists are like we are all connected. It's the same. Like magic is supposed to show you how to love yourself, others, other animals, other
Yeah.
plants. And there's a rule in magic where it's like you can't use magic to harm. And when you
You
do, you're
got
not supposed
payback.
to. You can, but exactly, you can
Karma.
get demonic. Exactly. And they were saying, I don't know if this is true, but they were saying in the Bible, when, what's his name? Prince, that King Solomon. King Solomon had all of these things, and
Exactly.
then
Continue. Finish that.
they commissioned. What I was learning was actually they commissioned demons to help build the church.
The
Not like
book.
demons in the
The
biblical
book.
sense.
He has a book. It's called The Keys of Solomon. It is
Exactly.
downright satanism. Personally speaking, if you ask me, bro, I
But the
read that
thing is,
shit. I was
though,
like, nah. Have you read it?
yeah,
You've
yeah,
read it.
I don't know. I know.
You know it says in the
I'll
beginning,
go read it
like,
now.
don't. You know it says, I swear, this is what it says when it begins, that you shouldn't tell people about this book because you may be inviting unwanted things into their lives. Because, bro, I saw that book. The
Oh,
book starts with how to become invisible. Can you imagine a book telling you how to become invisible? And this is Solomon.
what?
And then the weird thing is, it says you're supposed to go and do it, sijui,
Oh,
next to a lake, sijui in.
so that's the
What?
problem. The
What?
problem. So okay. So in magic, there's all about balance. We have rules. Even the church, they say the Catholic Church
Don't
used to
say we
study
have rules.
demons.
You do not practice witchcraft. Do not, please, do not
Okay, let's just
say
say
there
they
are
have
rules.
rules.
Yes, yes,
There are rules. It's like, have you watched The Witcher when
yeah.
Yennefer was doing, and she didn't hold on to the rose, so it took like half of her arm. I forgot something like that.
Hmm.
So it's like you have to follow. There's rules that they follow. the Catholic Church back in the day also used to like commission demons to teach them about, like, I can't even remember, something like that. But
Yeah.
there's usually rules. The demon can't do anything. Like, you know how in the Bible when Jesus went to fast, and then the devil was like, if you come under my rulership, you can own everything. That's how human beings get tempted into demonic ties.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want to fuck women? Okay, worship me. And then boom, tie.
Yeah.
Do you want to earn money? Boom,
Boom.
tie.
Die.
So it's like, just don't touch demonic stuff if you know you might struggle with that. That's what I was reading. I'm like, wow, okay. There's rules. All I will tell you is there's a part in the Bible that says we have dominion over all things, including demons. So like there's no way you'll just be attacked randomly until
Ay,
you
ay,
either
ay,
you
ay.
invite them. I'm
This
telling
life,
you,
there's enough happening in this life to invite demons. Me, bro,
yeah,
I
exactly.
read
You're
that book
right. You're
once.
right.
Bro, there's,
You're
and
right.
then, why is it
You
that,
can There's things you can do to invite demonic attacks, but you can't be just chilling in your room and then something just attacks you. That's the problem. But people are
okay,
so,
but now think about it. Like, you see, with the way you explain capitalism, it leads us to doing certain things. Like, you see,
yeah,
Easter is not a religious holiday. Easter is the Jesus didn't
yeah,
die on Easter. Christmas, the same thing. It's all pagan worship. This is
yeah.
all invented by the Romans.
Okay, so pagans I don't have a problem with.
But it's all okay. Okay, this
But
may
I
sound,
agree,
it sound
like
like
there's,
I'm a religious person. I'm far from it, but anyway, it's all like, I believe
yeah, like,
it's you shouldn't. It's like, I know I can put a fucking wolf in my room, and there's a
huh.
chance it might bite me. I'm just saying, like, example. I may put it
Oh,
in a
oh,
cage.
oh, oh.
Nini, nini. It's like a snake. I can put a snake in my room,
Yeah,
but
but you'll still come out and bite
you
you.
know, you still have to keep a.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I personally. Nah. I don't want
It's okay.
anything to
You
do
don't
with.
have to. It's not for everyone. Even spirituality is like, if you don't feel comfortable, it's okay. What I will tell you is, if you want to protect yourself, um, think about how your actions affect other people.
I do that every day,
That's how,
all the time.
exactly. So you're basically safe. If you
Hopefully.
most demonic things, yeah, most demonic things are like, do this for your own personal gain. But it's like, if you can consider how other people's lives might be affected, then it won't work for you.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay. I get you. Let me see. Let me see. You tell me if are you okay with continuing the stream, Mama? You have something to do.
Can we take a break and then I come back? I want to go smoke.
Haram. Okay, let's do this. Let's go for 10 more minutes. Then we can close it. Then next week we can have another one.
Okay.
Nah. So when you said about mm, wait, I want to know what type of person you are. So
Okay.
what do you think about COVID? I
Um,
hope
I
you do not ban
think
me.
no. I have many. I don't know. It's real.
Explain real.
So my mom has an autoimmune disease,
Mhm.
and she got COVID like 3 times, and then I got COVID twice, even though we had the booster shots. So the doctors were telling us, usually what happens when a virus is out, just everybody's supposed to get boosters, like immunized against it, so that it doesn't, what's the word, like evolve. The problem with COVID is people were rejecting the idea of COVID, and very few people were getting vaccinated. So even though you go get a booster shot, it keeps evolving, and then there's like, that's why there was COVID. There was, what was it?
Alpha, beta, Omicron,
Omega, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
B1,
exactly.
BA7, BA. Okay,
Exactly.
now I want to take you down a deep rabbit hole. This is probably one
Okay.
of the reasons why I got banned. But let's think about it. Let's think about it from. Let's not put in our personal emotions into it. Let's look at it
Yeah,
from
just
a
like
whole. Sawa,
discussion. Yeah.
sawa.
Yeah.
Only 1% of people who were affected by COVID, who got COVID, died. Isn't that a wild?
Yeah.
Isn't that a wild statistic?
So I think it's similar to how people don't die from the flu anymore. Because
Actually,
COVID was like,
actually, more
yeah,
people died of the flu than COVID.
yeah. So, okay, I don't know about that. But I think they were saying the reason for getting vaccinated wasn't so that you don't die from COVID. Because people who were dying from COVID were people who were immunocompromised or didn't have strong, like their bodies weren't
They're
strong
not.
enough to handle it. So, like babies, really old people, like my mom, she has an autoimmune disease. People with cancer, diabetes. If you were able-bodied, you would get COVID. You sleep. That's why they were saying if you have COVID symptoms, just sleep for like a week. Drink water, you'll be fine. Because it's like
Okay, so
the
now,
people who are really sick were dying from it. Like their bodies couldn't handle it.
we have a situation where who were the first people to be injected with the COVID vaccines? It was the old guys. Was it the old guys?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was. It was.
It was. Like
It was the
order
old
of
guys.
free vaccination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was the old guys first. My question is, fine, we care about the old guys, fine, but they're going to die. So they're going to die. Why does the economy have to stop? Think about the billionaire with a franchise that needs to run. So you get, so that we can save the old guys. The old guys aren't even working. So we close down. We shut down everything. So everything. So that's just one. Then two, if you look at the scenarios in which the virus escaped the Wuhan lab, it's wild. And then the first red flag
Did
to
it
me,
escape a lab? It was the that wet market.
it was a lab. It was later
So the
confirmed
wet
it was a
market
lab.
and
Yeah, they were actually
what?
doing. You see, this are the things that come afterwards, and then nobody actually speaks about them. And then in between that period of time, it's wild. You know, the funny thing is, these guys were actually doing gain of function research. You know what gain of function research is? It's
No, is it like
so
biological weapon?
exactly. So what we're doing is we're trying to make the most viral disease possible, and then we find a way to stop it. So, and then you look at the names around it. Oh my god, it's just, oh my god. You're like, there's no way this shit was real. Like, for a moment you're like, nah, this shit was set up by people. You see Fauci,
Yeah.
the lab that lost the COVID virus was Fauci's lab. And he was the one in charge of.
Fauci, I don't know, was Fauci a doctor?
The lab that was in Wuhan, he was the one who was the head of. You get?
No, I don't think so. Because why? What would like? Let's think about this like in terms of like the way. Okay, like in a realistic point of view, like as Africans, we're cheap.
Mine's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Okay. Like, see, Africa, the global south, like they want more cheap labor. So you saw the people who are dying the most were like poor people in America, people who are working really long hours, were to use public transport, so they were always in contact with like other people, and then a lot of people in. Yeah.
But okay, where my red flags began was the fact that this virus is not even called the Wuhan virus. It's called COVID-19. Personally speaking, there is no other disease apart from AIDS. I mean virus that is not named from where it originated from.
Really?
Ebola.
Like Zika virus?
Which one?
Is it Zika, the one you get from, I don't know, somewhere in Brazil or something like that?
I'm sure it comes from some place called Zika. I swear on God. Like, this is the way we usually name things in science. You get, like,
I
there's
think
a naming
it's so that they
system,
can. Yeah.
and
Wow.
viruses are named from where they originated from. You said it's called what? Zika.
Zika virus. I remember at Kitambo they were saying there's an outbreak. Oh yeah, infected by mosquitoes. Oh, it's from Uganda. Yeah, you are right. From the Zika forest of Uganda.
Told you. That's the accepted way that science is done. Like, that's how we do shit. So
Mm,
it's
yeah, but I can't see you.
you can't see me even now. Let me just try and turn off my camera and turn it on. Can you see me now?
No? Are you still streaming on YouTube?
Yeah. I'm still on. Let me just end the call and then come back in, or we can end the call now.
Or we can end it now,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um. This was a nice conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
Um.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the male perspective. I've been trying to find out, but my male friends don't want to tell me. Maybe it's because they've learned how to suppress their emotions.
Okay, and do ask them about it. Do ask them about it. Especially they
Wow.
hate they. I tell you something that men don't enjoy is being put on the spot. Asking them questions ahead on,
Yeah.
they don't like it. They feel like you're
Man.
challenging them.
Man, and then then they start tearing you down, and I'm like, I thought we were in love with each other. I
uh, anyway, you have a nice night
Yeah,
and
you too.
think about getting a husband. So.
Ah. Let me watch Shira 7.
Ah, no, that's haram. That's haram. Uh, anyway,
Ah,
good night.
okay. Good night. Thanks for the stream.
No worries, no worries. Welcome, guys. I feel like that was good.